biggest game of the Big 12 is at hand. Number 6, Nebraska, hosting the 5th-ranked Wildcats of Kansas State. Hi again, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. Welcome to Lincoln, where they are ready for the big game. It is a year ago now that Kansas State pulled off the win, ended all those years of frustration, and they again are in that title chase. If they can win this game, they'll win the Northern Division of the Big 12. They'll go on to the Big 12 championship and be right in the thick of the BCS. Nebraska, if they can win out, win this game, take care of Colorado on Thanksgiving weekend, they would be the Northern representative. It's a huge game. My partner's Bob Greasy. Everybody around the country that loves playoffs, theory in college football, I don't know, maybe this is our playoff Saturday.
Well, everybody wants a playoff in college football, and I'm saying you're in it. Last week, Penn State loses to Minnesota. Penn State is eliminated. The loser of this game is out of the title chase. Virginia Tech tonight plays Miami. If they lose, they're out of it. Florida State next week goes to Florida.
Yep.
If they lose, or whichever team loses, they're out of it. So we're in the middle of a college football playoff.
You know, 3 states west of us tonight, it's Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis in a heavyweight fight. That's kind of what we have here today.
It is, and it's with the defenses. You know, I always, quarterback, I like offenses, but this game is going to be dominated by the defenses. 2 heavyweights, the 2 top defenses, 2 of the 5 top ones in the nation, but Kansas State's defense must play much better because they need to produce field position and turnovers to help their offense win.
And they've done that this year. Amazingly, they're still the number 2 scoring team offensively in the country.
Amazing.
Well, it's history on Nebraska's side again today, though. 31 years the last time the Wildcats were able to win here in Lincoln, and you can bet those guys in those white and red helmets, the seniors who are being introduced right now, don't want a 2-game winning streak for the Wildcats of Kansas State. You have to go back to the late 50s, the last time that's happened, the 58-59 seasons, the last time Kansas State won 2 in a row with these guys in red. So the crowd expected to be a record number today of over 77,000. The temperature is 84 degrees with sunshine. Did we take a wrong turn getting to Lincoln or what? Thanks so much with his seniors being introduced. Big tackle Warren. He's one of those leaders and captains of the defense.
15 to 20. Maybe a few more seniors playing their last home game here today.
And while the coach tried to downplay it as just another game, it is so much more for the Cornhuskers. We talked about the implications in the Big 12. Here's how it looks in the North. Kansas State still perfect at 9-0. But a win by Nebraska today would snap the tiebreaker. They would still have to beat Colorado the day after Thanksgiving, and that one is in Boulder. But Kansas State, with a win today, would clinch the North and play in San Antonio against the 3rd Division champ. Third man on our broadcast crew, down on the sideline in the sunshine, Lynn Swan. Swanee?
Thank you very much, Brad. You know, when you have great defense, it's hard for the offense to look good or control the game. But look for the offense to go for the big play. And for Kansas State, the big play comes wearing number 32, David Allen. He is all set to break the NCAA record for punt returns for a touchdown. He wants to go after it, and look for him behind the center to do a great job running the football. Now, on the other side for Nebraska, they've got a young man wearing number 12 who is like the Peter Warwick of the Nebraska football team because they want to give him the ball all over the place, on reverses, on passes, and hand it to him. That's Bobby Newcomb, and he can do it all. Now, no ball control, I don't think you'll see in this ball game. But the big play will present itself in few opportunities. The team that can capitalize, see the opportunity, I think will be the team that comes out the winner this afternoon.
Great point, Swanee, and I don't know if I've ever gone through a week when we've talked more about special teams. Mike Solich looking for a big win his 2nd year as head coach. 17-5, he's lost only once at home. He's taken the heat of the Cornhusker fans, even with that 11-1 record at home. Bill Snyder has done one of the greatest production jobs in the history of college football. His 11th season, 1-9 against Nebraska, the one win last week. 0-5 though. But again, a 9-game winning streak. That's tied with Florida State and Virginia Tech. behind Marshall as the second best streak in the country. At the bit on the sideline. He played a good game last year, had over 100 yards both rushing and throwing, and still came up short, 40-30.
Brad, I can remember being here the second week in November. The temperature was 25 degrees and the rain was going sideways.
Quite a difference. Randy Stella and Joe Walker are back at the goal line awaiting the kick of Jamie Ream as Kansas State won the toss and deferred. Ream, an excellent kicker, as he took over for the guy that won the Groza last year in Martin Gramatica, and now he is a finalist for the very same award this season. For the 84th time, Kansas State and Nebraska, and we're underway. And a great kick out of the back of the end zone. So to start things off, Eric Crouch and the offense will work from its own 20-yard line. Eric Crouch coming off a game with a career-high rushing day last week, 137 yards and a touchdown in the rout over Texas A&M, 37-0. They really put the game together in the second half. There's his numbers from last week. From the 20. Newcomb in motion, and he'll go straight ahead. And the fumble on the first play, and Kansas State's got it. Lamar Chapman. Dan Alexander got popped inside, and the ball came loose on the first play of the game.
Nebraska has had problems all season long fumbling the football. In fact, they lead the nation in most fumbles given up.
Game, and a problem that's cropped up for Frank Solich Cornhuskers this year. A fumble by Dan Alexander on the first play, recovered by Lamar Chapman, and Kansas State has got it first down at the 28-yard line. They go off the right side with David Allen, and Kyle Vanden Bosch makes the tackle. The Big 12 North is at stake here today. With a win, Kansas State would win the North and be assured of a spot in San Antonio for the Big 12 championship and a hunt in the BCS. For Nebraska, a win today would give them the head-to-head competition advantage over Kansas State, and if they could beat Colorado on Thanksgiving weekend, they would be the northern representative for the conference crown. 2nd down and 8. Here's Allen again. Hit quickly. Got about 3. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Deion Booker from the secondary made the stop. This was the first play of the football game offensively. Nebraska from its own 20, Bob.
And this is what Kansas State does so well, and that is create turnovers. In fact, coming into the game, they lead the nation in takeaways and in turnover margin.
3rd down and 5. Opening possession for the Kansas State offense, trying to take advantage of that turnover we just showed you. And here's where Beasley's going to have trouble. The crowd is deafening. He's trying to change the play and drops to throw on 3rd down. Fires way over the head of his intended receiver. Incomplete. And so Kansas State's going to have to settle for a field goal attempt. So on 4th down, out comes Jamie Ream. And 15 straight field goals is a school record. This would tie the Big 12 record if he hits it from 40 yards. Field goal blocked by Nebraska. So we've had one series of football. A Nebraska fumble gave Kansas State an opening shot at scoring first. But Vanden Bosch, who got 2 a week ago, just stuffed those plans as he blocks the field goal.
Well, as advertised, 2 of the top 5 defenses in the nation have taken control of this game in the first series for each team.
15 straight field goals, but then you've got the Nebraska block team and the guy that comes over the top, Kyle Vanden Bosch, number 83, the junior. He's a kick blocking machine. 2 a week ago, 1 today, and it gives it back to the Nebraska offense at its own 23. They don't get much from Coral Buckhalter out to the 25-yard line. With Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler. This is the number 5 and number 6 teams in the country in front of a record crowd on a midsummer-like day. 84 degrees and sunshine, if you can believe it, on November 13th in Lincoln, Nebraska. And as Bob said, we have been here when the snow's been flying in the booth, the rain's been going sideways. This one, you want to take a picnic to the game. Second down and 8.
Top coats and top hats and gloves and scarves.
Here's the option. Crouch is going to keep it. There, it's got the first down. Knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line, but it's first down, Nebraska. For those of you just joining us, having seen the Michigan-Penn State game, here's what's at stake in the Big 12. Kansas State with a win will win the North Division and be assured of a spot in the conference championship game in San Antonio the first week of December. But Nebraska, if they can win and then take care of Colorado on Thanksgiving weekend, they would win the North, and they'd be heading to Texas for the conference crown. We're just underway, and we've already had a block kick and a fumble. But Nebraska's got a first down to work with. Buckhalter is stopped for no gain. In fact, he lost about 2 yards. Here's the chilly starting lineup for Nebraska. Julch and Volk are the tackles. Sherman and Hochstein are the guards. Raiola, the center, probably their best offensive lineman. Davison, the wide receiver. Newcomb will play wing back and wide out. Wistrom's the tight end. And joining Eric Crouch in the backfield, we've already seen Alexander, who fumbled, and now Buckhalter, who's been in there. And the lead man will be Willie Miller, the fullback, who's in the eye right now. Crouch will keep. And Semino's got him wrapped up, but not before he picks up about 3 yards. Mark Semino, the All-American candidate for the Kansas State defense that looks like this. Darren Howard leads them in tackles for loss. He'll move inside and outside. Fatafehi, Holloman, and Beisel round out the front 4. Semino, who just made that tackle, is a Butkus finalist with Lieber and Litton. The secondary has been strong in the last few years for Kansas State. Really not a difference today. Lamar Chapman has already recovered a fumble. He and Cooper are the captains of the defense with Semino, and Butler and Carter play the corners. That's Phil Bennett, the first-year defensive coordinator for Kansas State. Much traveled around both the Big 8 and then the Big 12, other places as well, including the Big 10. But he's got this team playing great football again. They're 4th in the country in scoring defense. And Nebraska comes in 3rd in the country in scoring defense. So as Bob and I talked about earlier, a battle of heavyweights. And we talked about Holyfield and Lewis tonight. They've got nothing on this one, Bob.
Well, normally I like to get behind the offense being a quarterback, but this one is dominated by the defenses. 2 of the top 5 in the country. Kansas State needs the turnovers from their defense to help their offense. Exactly what they got on the first possession. They just didn't convert the field goal.
Fatafehi was the guy that was shaken up for Kansas State. They help him off the field. Nebraska has a 3rd down and 6. Kansas State thinking blitz. They're going to bring it. Crouch. He'll keep it. And he lost the ball on a late pitch, knowing he needed about another yard. The ball goes out of bounds at the 49. If they spot it there, it's a first down.
I don't think they'll allow that, though, because the ball was fumbled ahead of time. He's going to take it back to where he had possession of it.
That's what Bill Snyder and Mark Semino are saying to the linesman. Wait a minute now. That was basically a forward lateral, and the coaches are steamed. We get another look at it.
That's exactly what they're talking about. Crouch comes down the line, does a nice job, knows he doesn't have the first down, and then tosses it, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Buckhalter did get a hand on it, but he never had possession of it. And so now John Laurie will tell us eventually, our referee. They're saying first down Nebraska, I guess. Well, Kansas State leads the country in
taking the ball away, and the Nebraska offense is the worst in the nation in losing fumbles. 16, that includes the one they had on the first possession.
That's a bad combination.
Yeah, and it's good for Bill Snyder defensively, but it's not good for Nebraska.
They have given Nebraska the first down at the 49 of Kansas State. I guess the booing that was going on was for Bill Snyder arguing the call. I think he's got a great argument myself. At any rate, Nebraska is in Kansas State territory. Nice play fake by Crouch. Crossing patterns, got his man. It's his tight end Wistrom. And it's a first down, Nebraska at the 35-yard line of Kansas State as we send it to New York and John Saunders. John.
Brad, here on the Burger King update. Remember last year, Arkansas almost got Tennessee. Here, Clint Sterner late in the fourth quarter, 23 yards to Anthony Lucas. Great catch for the touchdown. There's under 4 minutes remaining, and Arkansas has a 4-point lead on number 2 in the BCS standings. Brad.
Wow, does that shake up the SEC if that holds?
That's another playoff game for Tennessee. They lose, they're out.
Fullback Willie Miller goes off the left side for a couple. And Mark Semino involved on another tackle.
You know, Brad, all the conversation, all the people interested in college football saying we need a playoff, we want a playoff. If they just wait, if they just wait till the season's over with and the championship games have been played, normally it's going to take care of itself.
Last year it did with UCLA and Miami, and also the Kansas State Big 12 championship game with Texas A&M. It all sorted itself out.
Yep.
Everybody gets anxious. 2nd down and 8. Late pitch, Buckhalter, nice open field tackle out there. Die shot Carter made the stop, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and long for Nebraska.
And it's good. The conversation there, you say everybody gets anxious. It's good for college football. You know, it would not be good if it didn't work itself out. But this system that we have today is much better than the coalition and the alliance. Every step along the way over the last 7-8 years have gotten better and better, and we're finally getting the 1 and 2 team on the field at the end of the year.
Tell you what, every time I walk in my little local pub, somebody's arguing about something. 3rd down and 7. Crouch with some time, going long. Davison got his fingers on it, couldn't hold it. Couldn't have been put in really a better spot, but Davison had a tough time drawing a bead on it over his shoulder.
Good play all the way around. Carter was there. Davison ran under the ball. The throw was where it had to be. Looking back, Davison just goes off of his tips of his fingers, and the coverage was there.
And Bob, that pass, although it was in the perfect place, was a little bit of a duck. It kind of wobbled, and we've got a pretty good wind up here blowing from right to left. That wind just hung it up. Hard for a receiver to make the judgment and make that kind of catch.
So it's Hayden fell in to punt. Just going to try to get one out of bounds. I think he got way too much on this one. He did. So that'll bring it out to the 20. Not much of a net gain there for Nebraska and Kansas State on offense when we come back. With Lynn Swan, Bob Greasy, I'm Brad Nessler. Welcome back. Memorial Stadium. Perfect day for football. Not a perfect start for either one of these teams.
Well, it's not going to be pretty. The defenses are going to dominate. That's not to say that there won't be some points scored. They'll generate the points and give good field position for the field goal kickers and the offenses.
Here's a second possession for the Wildcats, and it's Allen who goes for 3 or 4 off the right side. As we take a look at the Chile starting lineup for Kansas State, McIntosh and Barnett at the tackles, Moses and Robertson the guards. Cummins is their most dependable. He's the man calling the shots at the center spot. Lockett and Morgan are some big play receivers when they can get it out to him. Shad Meyer, the tight end, and joining Jonathan Beasley, the quarterback in the backfield, David Allen and Joe Hall. And right now, Joe Hall, the single setback in a 3-wide receiver group. He'll get the call, and the big fella takes it across the 25 to about the 26. Ball is loose. Nebraska's got it. Heading for the end zone. Let's see if they're going to bring it back. It's Tony Ortiz, the linebacker.
You got an umpire there with his hand straight up in the air. I think he blew it dead.
So instead of Kansas State disaster, it's going to be 3rd down and 4 for the Wildcats. There's Hall's first carry. Boy, I tell you what, I guess he was down.
You really couldn't tell from he was down a long time before the ball came free.
3rd down and 4. Now it's Hall and Allen in a dual backfield, and both wideouts to the top of your screen. And Jonathan Beasley takes a timeout, and that's going to bring 77,000 to make even more noise. We'll take a timeout with him with 9:10 remaining first quarter, no score.
In Lincoln, Nebraska, this stadium, this crowd can get absolutely unruly when it comes to the noise. Bill Snyder has talked to the officials. It is going to be one of the critical areas of this ball game that Kansas State has to control. I have 2 earpieces to control mine.
Jonathan Beasley wishes his wideout and his tackles did. Here he is on the keeper, and down he goes. And now you'll hear some noise. Vanden Bosch and Wills, the 2 defensive ends, drop him for a loss.
On either one of these defenses. They're just so much speed laterally. You want to run right at them.
Mike Ronsick to punt, and the dual return men you saw there are Joe Walker and Bobby Newcomb. The punting game has not been a good one for Kansas State this year. It's been a sore spot for Bill Snyder, and Nebraska knows it. End over end kick. Takes a bounce in front of Newcomb. He'll take it on the hop. Flags down as Newcomb is on his way. Bobby Newcomb to midfield and then some. And again, a penalty marker down at the 20-yard line.
At the 20-yard line, the original line of scrimmage.
See if somebody left early. Motion against Kansas State, and that's a declinable penalty, isn't it? So Nebraska gets the punt return from Newcomb, and they're in business. Let's take a look at the Dell Game Solutions, Bob.
Yeah, for Nebraska offensively, hold on to the football. They've already put it on the ground once. And for Kansas State defensively, they got to create field position with takeaways to help their offense. They've already done that. It's going to be key throughout this ball game.
So far, they've both done what you talked about, one in a negative way, one in a positive way. But Bobby Newcomb's 28-yard punt returns put Nebraska in K-State territory again. Crouch to throw. Wistrom. Oh, man, he almost made a one-handed catch. Couldn't quite hold on to it. And Jared Cooper was back there with him. That's a good-looking tight end. He makes those kind of catches sometimes look routine.
Well, this is one of the things they wanted to try to do, is get Wistrom on the strong safety Cooper. Cooper is an excellent defensive back, but he's better against the run than he is against the pass. That ball was right on the money. Just good coverage.
What a pretty picture of a great attempt by the tight end. They've tried only 3 passes so far today. They've aimed 2 of them at Wistrom. 2nd down and 10. Crouch, quarterback draw. Eric inside the 40, broke a tackle, cuts outside, got to the 35, about a yard short of a first down. He's quick.
He is, and that is one of the real dangers of playing Nebraska, is Crouch not only on an option, but on a quarterback draw or a busted play, his ability to run. One of the fastest guys on the team. This is a design quarterback draw.
Buckhalter got a nice block on Lieber, the linebacker, to help free him up a little bit.
And he had a huge hole to run through, didn't he? The offensive line just moved out the defensive line.
Kansas State's only allowed 1 third down conversion in the last 17 attempts by their opponents. Here's a 3rd and short, and Crouch has got it. Down to the 30-yard line. Last week, Kansas State did not allow a 3rd down conversion to Colorado. 0 for 13. So you go all the way back to the Baylor game. 15 straight times they've held the opposition without picking up the first on a 3rd down situation. But now Nebraska's got a couple here already.
Yeah, the flip side of that, last week, Kansas State only made offensively 1 of 14 on 3rd down. So there was a lot of punting.
Absolutely.
Not many long drives on that in that game.
6:35 remaining in the first quarter. Nebraska at the 30-yard line of Kansas State, trying to get on the board first. Crouch from a shotgun, and then takes off behind his blockers inside the 20. Eric Crouch, touchdown, Cornhuskers. the Red Sea. And before the waves could get back to him, he took it 30 yards for the touchdown.
This is just a quarterback sweep. The two guards are going to pull. Crouch takes a counter step to time it up. The receiver on that side took his man deep. It was bump and run coverage. He never saw him coming.
Josh Brown in for the point after. And it's up and good. The Cornhuskers on the board first, courtesy of number 7. They lead by 7. The man in the middle got the touchdown from 30 yards to cap a 44-yard scoring drive in just 90 seconds. And, of course, Bobby Newcomb's punt return was a big help in that of 28 yards to set it up. Kansas State, Terrence Newman, one of 3 return men. He's the deep man waiting on Hayden Felt's kick. And a little bit of wind that Swanee talked about will make Hayden Felt re-tee it. Some of the starters on defense, like Ralph Brown, on this kick team is Joe Walker as well. Brown, one of the seniors that were introduced today. Now we've got it going. At the 1 is Terrence Newman. Fumble, scooped up, and it's Brown at the 20. Down the sideline, Brown to the 1. We just talked about him being one of the senior leaders, and he's just led Nebraska to the Kansas State goal line.
He's a starting corner on the defensive team. The ball bounces right to him. And he's saying, hey, Kansas State, we can take it away also. That's just good tackling, good physical tackling by Nebraska. And they get the ball on the 2-yard line.
First and goal, Cornhuskers. Buckhalter breaks a tackle. He's close. Not quite. Fada Fahey on the bottom of that pile, big number 75. They're still all tangled up. It'll be second down and goal.
I think the thing that's jumped out at me right off the bat here, Brad.
Wait a minute.
A fumble.
You talk about a late call on a fumble. I did not see the ball come loose. I didn't see the signal either.
But it's as long as Kansas State defensively can get on the field, even though if it's the 1.5-yard line, they've got a chance to take it away. Look at this. That's Chapman. Look, it looks like Chapman was going for it. And there it is.
Bob, what happened? The ball came loose in that pile. The officials didn't even see it. And then when they finally looked in there, they had to get confirmation that it was actually a fumble.
It did come loose.
Allen hit by Mike Brown, stood up after he got about 1.5 yards out to the 3. So Nebraska has fumbled twice in this game already, but they lead 7-0. They have lost more than half of their fumbles to today.
And that by far leads the nation in lost fumbles. And Frank Solich says, I don't know. I says, I've talked everything about it. I don't know what else to do about it other than just not say anything. So they're not talking about it anymore.
They'll be talking about it in town tonight. Beasley, play action from his own end zone. Pumps. They had a hold of him. He got rid of the ball, and it was almost completed to his tight end, Meyer, out near the 20-yard line. Boy, 18 hung in there, 6 yards deep in his own end zone, and finally got rid of it.
Well, the black shirts, that's what the defense for Nebraska are called. Good pressure there by Kaiser, 91. Vanden Bosch, 83. And a late hit there by Johnson. It looked number 27. Beasley did a nice job to avoid the safety and 2 points.
Don't you know Beasley is thinking about it here again now on a 3rd and 9.
Well, that's the quarterback in your own end zone. don't take a safety.
He's going to roll to throw this time.
Good call.
And had to throw it into the Nebraska bench. And now the punting unit of Kansas State, which has been a sore spot for Bill Snyder all year, is going to have one of their kickers backed up to that chalk line. They don't have much room to work. Ronsick comes out.
Well, their special teams have been good the last few years, and they're good this year. But as you mentioned, it's the kicking team, the punting team especially, that's ranked 88th in the nation. That's way above what they normally are.
Here they come, and it's blocked out of the end zone.
Well, Frank Solich says their punter is a little slow getting it off. And if you're ever going to try and block one, this is the spot where you try and block it. Comes from the right side, right up the middle. It looks like Stella, number 34. He's a freshman, a linebacker that doesn't get to play much. But you want to get rid of that ball as quickly as you can if you're the punter in your own end zone. It's a great effort.
Stella with a punt block. Nebraska dominating here early. Whew. 4:43 left in the first quarter. It's happening in a hurry here at Memorial Stadium. Nebraska with a safety on a block punt by Randy Stella. And the brain trust of Kansas State on the sideline saying, we got to slow this thing down a little bit.
Well,
Bosnick had the punt blocked, and it went out of the back of the end zone for the 2.
As I said, you know, when defenses are this strong and dominate, it's not going to be pretty. It'll be exciting, and there'll be some points scored, but it won't be the conventional way.
And now on the free kick, Jamie Ream will kick off. Many times a punter would kick this, but the punters are not that good for Kansas State, to be honest with you. The ball blows off the tee, in this instance going the other way as well. So Ream, who does have an excellent leg, will kick this away. And Randy Stella and Joe Walker are the 2 guys waiting on it. Stella, who just made the big play. Ralph Brown had that fumble recovery that took it down to the 1. Then a crazy play and a late fumble gave Kansas State the ball. That was the good news. The bad news is they got locked near their own end zone and then had the punt blocked. Ream with a kick that's going to bounce at the 20. Stella will take it at the 15. Whew, did he get tattooed at about the 27-yard line. Nice hit on the special teams. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the all-new 2000 Pontiac Bonneville. Luxury with attitude. Burger King, have it your way. National Car Rental, so what are you waiting for? Let's go. And Ameritrade, believe in yourself. Right now, Nebraska is believing. So are their fans. Kansas State wondering a little bit about their start here in the first 10 minutes of this football game. Eric Crouch will line him up. Last time he touched it, he went 30 yards for a score. Drops back to throw on first down. Wistrom's wide open. Cooper knocks him out of bounds, but he's all the way to the 47-yard line of the Wildcats, a pickup of 26.
Well, what we were told was that on the left side of your screen, 87, Wistrom against Jared Cooper. They like that combination. Wistrom is a big tight end. He's only 225 pounds, so he's not a good, heavy blocking tight end, but he's a great receiving tight end. They like that matchup.
So right back on the Wildcat end of the field again are the Cornhuskers. Give off the left side, Diedrich. And he got to about the 43. Cooper made the tackle. Ron Diedrich, the 3rd high back in the setup for Nebraska. 4:13 left in the quarter. Tomorrow on ESPN, AFC West battle. The Broncos head to Seattle to take on the first place Seahawks. Then on ABC's Monday Night Football, Bill Parcells and the Jets looking to play spoiler. They'll take on Drew Bledsoe and the New England Patriots. 30th year anniversary party of ABC's Monday Night Football. Here's Crouch on an option. He broke 3 tackles and not the 4th. Chris Johnson finally puts him down, as he didn't get much on that at all. No gain on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 7. Eric Crouch has become the 50th player and the 7th Nebraska quarterback to rush in his career for over 1,000 yards. He did that with some style on a touchdown run today. He's got 70 yards on 7 carries.
And he's a pretty good thrower. He comes in ranked first in pass efficiency in the Big 12.
2 tight ends set here. He'll throw off play action. On a crossing pattern. Boy, they got Wistrom all day on that play. Lamar Chapman makes the stop at the big tight end. Tracy Wistrom's got another catch at a pickup of 14.
Good protection first off. Wistrom just a crossing route. Going to cross from our left to the right. Wistrom came in averaging over 32 yards per reception. He got 3 or 4 passes already here today.
Yeah, he's 3 for 54. And another first down at the 29 of Kansas State. Now Nebraska's in their double wing look for the first time today. And with it, they'll go with a fullback. About 3 yards for Willie Miller. Fadafehi made the tackle.
Fullback
27.
It's like throwing a piece of meat to a dog that does all the work, you know. Billy Miller, the fullback, they've had some great fullbacks around here through the years.
They sure have.
And some of them have been pretty good runners, but most of the time they do the dirty work, all the blocking.
Second down and 8 with 2:17 left first quarter. 9-0 Nebraska on an Eric Crouch touchdown run and a safety on a block punt. Crouch on the pitch. Diedrich trying to get to the corner, and Semino won't let him get there. Nice job by the linebacker to knock him out after a pickup of 2. And let's check in with John in New York.
Brad, here's the Ron Dane watch against Iowa today. 1-yard touchdown run here, although he runs about 10 to get the 1. 10 carries for 37 yards, now needing just 62 yards to the record book. 13-0 Wisconsin. Brad.
All right, back here, 9-0 Nebraska.
Wisconsin's got to be kind of excited because with Penn State losing.
That's right, they can go to the Rose Bowl.
They win, they're going.
At the 25-yard line. 3rd down 6 on the option. Crouch, late pitch, Diedrich lost it, got it on a bounce. Dives. He's short of the first down, but he got awfully close. Down to the 20. Maybe close enough to make this a decision.
They're fumbling so many times this year, they're actually getting good at it. It's an option coming down the line.
This is their 3rd fumble of the day, but this one they get back.
That's Beisel, number 44. Diedrich does a little bouncing, dribbling act and gets close to the first down.
Just looked like a 2-guard there. Picked it up on the dribble, and it's 4th down and 1. Power eye. They'll go, and Crouch has a first down on the sneak. Never a doubt for Nebraska. They just took it, and Crouch went off his center Raiola, and Hochstein the guard. Easy first down. Swanee?
Well, Brad, Nebraska comes into this game against a good Kansas State defense, but you know, one of the things that Frank Solich told us is that his offense is going to test that defense to find out how good it really was. They weren't going to abandon their game plan to try and out-trick them. I think what they've discovered is they can move it. Now they're going to stick with their normal game plan and just go after them nose to nose.
That's what they did in the second half last week against A&M. Crouch on play action, wide open. Wistrom couldn't get there. Oh, man, he had 3 yards back there on Cooper, and Cooper's celebrating because Wistrom fell down.
You're exactly right. He was wide open, and his legs just wouldn't take him there fast. There he is here. They're just going to do a little corner route off of play action. Fake it to him. Look how wide open he is. When you've got a touchdown, my legs are, oh, just keep taking me quick. The thing I'm impressed with Nebraska early is their offensive line. Moving them out on the running game and giving him plenty of time to throw.
2nd down and 10 at the K-State 18. Crouch rolls left and throws high, intended for Newcomb, who took a shot in the secondary. Dyshad Carter let him know he was there. And it brings up 3rd down and 10. Final 46 seconds of the quarter. Crouch with a touchdown run today. A safety by Nebraska, and they're knocking on the door again.
Crouch has thrown the ball 7 times. 5 have gone to Wistrom. He's caught 3 of them, and he could have had a touchdown a couple plays ago.
3 out of 7 for 54. He's done a better job with his legs than his arms so far. Let's see if he uses the arm again, though, on 3rd down and 10. Nope, it's going to take off. And he's got an opening at the 10. Touchdown, Eric Crouch. His second touchdown run of the day. We just said doing a better job with his legs than his arm, and he did it again. Second touchdown rushing, his 13th of the year on the ground. Josh Brown's extra point is good. Nebraska dominating Kansas State in the first quarter.
Quarterback that can run the football is so much more dangerous, either on a scramble or a design play. Watch here now. Some of these linemen are going to come over here, and as he drops back, there's going to be a huge opening to our left side. Comes through, and there's like a wall that he cuts back. And just a shoot into the end zone.
Diedrich got a nice block right there on Lieber. And then it was easy when you got his speed. You think this group's not fired up?
Oh, after winning 29 straight, going into Manhattan last year and losing 40-30. And now they said, we're going to lose this twice in a row. They're coming to our place.
Crouch caps the 73-yard drive in 4 minutes.
Of course, Brad, as you know, Kansas State is one of the big comeback teams of the year. Down 21 points twice this year and have come back to win. And that man right there is well aware of that fact.
They were down 21 to Iowa State and won. And Oklahoma State as well, and won both those games, so they know they've got to come from behind now. There's David Allen. He's a guy that can change the complexion of a game the first time he touches it, if they let him touch it. Great punt return and kick return, man. 7 touchdowns on punt returns on his season, on his career, rather, and he'll get a shot at this one from the 4. David Allen. Allen, look out. He might take it down the sideline. He runs out of real estate, but he's got it all the way out to the 47-yard line. As we said, in one play, number 32 can change a game.
And I did the Kansas State-Texas game a little bit earlier in the season, and they were down to Texas and not playing well. And David Allen took a punt and ran it back for a touchdown. And as Bill Snyder told us last night, he says that turned that ball game around. And one of the other ones, David Allen ran one back and turned him around. So he's trying to do his part to get him going.
That's his longest, the longest kick return allowed by Nebraska this year right there. 44 yards out to the 47-yard line. Best spot that K-State's had to have an offensive set since that opening march. And here's Beasley just keeping it, and he might have a first down. I think he does. Jonathan took it, ran out of bounds at the 42-yard line with a first down as we check the Dell Game Solutions for Kansas State. Bob.
Well, they need to produce some big plays. They're not going to take the offense down methodically, long plays and all that. They need one play, hit a wide receiver down the field, something, big plays. Defensively, they got to get after Beasley. Nebraska defensively, get after, pressure the quarterback, get to the heart of that offense and stop it.
That was the initial first down of the football game for Kansas State. It comes with 23 seconds left in the first quarter. And a timeout taken again by Beasley. The second one Kansas State has had to use here. And we still haven't expired the first 15 minutes. Timeout. Nebraska 16, Kansas State nothing. .23 seconds left in the first quarter. And a first down Kansas State. The Nebraska 42. Frank Murphy in motion out of the backfield. Straight ahead is Hall. And he's just going to take a couple guys with him. And the guys he's taking are pretty good size. Warren weighs about the same as Hall. They mix it up a little bit now. Steve Warren about 290. Joe Hall about maybe 285.
Steve Warren may be singing him a lullaby. He's sung at some weddings around town. He sung the national anthem. So You never know.
Right now they're singing the blues in Manhattan, Kansas. First quarters belong to the Cornhuskers. ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Set to start the second quarter. Nebraska leading 16-0. Kansas State a 2nd and 4 at the Cornhusker 36-yard line. And now Beasley trying to change the play over the din of the crowd. Hall had to come way up near him to get the change, and that's Beasley to throw. Got a man open, overshot him. It was Lockett who was open at the 30-yard line. So far, all Nebraska in this game. Eric Crouch got things going in a hurry, capping a 44-yard drive with a 30-yard touchdown run. Randy Stella with Kansas State backed up in their own end zone, blocks a punt for a safety, and then moments ago Crouch got a great block and took it 18 yards for his second scoring run of the day to cap a 73-yard drive. And that's where we are, 16-0 Cornhuskers. 3rd down and 4. As Bob said, the Wildcats struggled big time on 3rd down conversions last week. They need this one to kind of get back in the hunt in this thing. Beasley deep drops, going to go long. Got a man out there. Morgan has it. 1st and goal, Kansas State at the 4-yard line.
That's what they've done all year long, is live by the big play.
32 yards to Quincy Morgan.
3rd and short yardage, and they go for the big play down the field. Morgan's right here. He's just going to break to the inside. Single coverage and nice protection. Look at the time he has to stand in the pocket. He almost hung this up too much. Morgan had to wait for it. If he hadn't waited for it, he could have scored a touchdown.
On the ground, Murphy got to about the 2. You know, they don't throw a lot, but Beasley 2nd in the country in yards per completion, 2nd only to Michael Vick, almost 19 yards per completion.
Yeah, he's only completing 46% of his passes, which is last in the Big 12 in completion percentage. But he's great in distance throwing, and 9 of his 12 touchdown passes have been for greater than 32 yards.
Here they just like to jam it in the end zone. Hall and Murphy behind Beasley. Murphy. I don't know. Got close. He got in. Oh, the ball is loose. Nebraska says they have it.
Did he score before the ball came loose?
Boy, he was right at the goal line when that thing came out of there. Vandenbosch is the guy holding the football, and what are the officials going to do with this one? They have marked it at about the 4-inch line, I think.
Well, we talk about fumbles going into the game and turnovers, and nobody can hang on to it. There it is.
Ooh.
That's close.
Very.
That is very close. Looked like
Beasley hit. Got there. Touchdown. Boy, did he have to work for that 4 inches of turf. So Beasley puts Kansas State on the board for the first time today, and they're going to go for 2.
Well, I don't know. That was very close. The play before that, whether or not the ball was loose before his knee hits the ground. That's the key. Does his knee hit the ground and then the ball come out? Yeah, it looks like his knee may have hit the ground before the ball was out.
Going for 2 in an empty backfield. Beasley rolls to his right with the option to throw. Had it batted down. Steve Warren got a paw on it.
He didn't have, the way he threw it, he kind of threw it sidearm. Warren had to reach down to knock that one down.
But Kansas State does get a touchdown. They really had to struggle to get in there, and they trail now by 10. Nothing measly about the touchdown by Beasley. I guess about a 6-inch dive caps a 53-yard scoring drive.
The impressive thing, though, was Kansas State goes down 16-0, and they immediately come back. I think that's a testament to Bill Snyder, and what a great job he's done at this school, bringing the tradition back. 6 straight years they've won 9 games or more. I think this is the 7th year. They've won 9 straight. There's a toughness, there's a mental toughness, and he just won't let them quit.
Randy Stella waiting back on the goal line. Kick taken by Joe Walker. And Walker broke a tackle. Hurdles another. And finally sandwiched at about the 38-yard line. Check our Aflac trivia question for this week. Kansas State last won in Lincoln in 1968. We talked about that earlier. In that year, which movie won the Academy Award for Best Picture? What was the #1 song? And how much were student season tickets? You get all of those. You're doing a good job. We were up here guessing the song and the movie earlier. Tickets, there aren't any to be had for this one, I'll tell you that much. In fact, they expected a record crowd today, over 77,000. Miller, the fullback. And the ball came loose at the very end of that play, too, but he was blown dead already.
If you're going to run the option, you have to give it to the fullback. He has to be a threat up inside every now and then.
Wow, Arkansas has beaten Tennessee, so that shakes up the SEC. Florida had to struggle a little bit, but won. Alabama leading Mississippi State. Key games all in the SEC. For the SEC championship in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome the first weekend of December. Michigan, if you didn't see it, a winner over Penn State. Wisconsin, if they can win that Iowa game in the Rose Bowl. That's all what's going on today. And here in Nebraska, they lead Kansas State. Bobby Newcomb, first time he's got his hands on it today, got out to the 44-yard line. Jeremetrius Butler made the tackle. And Frank Solich knows that he wants to get number 12 involved in this Nebraska offense.
You look at Bobby Newcomb, they're always aware of where he's at on the football field. Now, that doesn't mean you stop trying to get him the ball, and we'll continually try to do that. But we've been satisfied, I think, with the kind of plays that we've had in and some of the opportunities that he's had to get the ball. That doesn't mean they're all going to materialize to where the ball's in his hands, but we'll do the best we can on that.
On the double wing, they do the best they can, and Sean Applegate, a former walk-on, rips off 13 yards. First down, Nebraska at the 42-yard line. Second time today we've seen that double wing set.
Yeah, I think this is something they used a lot last week against Texas A&M. Double wing right here and here. The difference is right here is a fullback that can run, can block, so they've got the option balanced up. They can go one side or the other. Before, they were tipping it a little bit, so they balance up, put the fullback in there, and they can run it either way.
First down inside the 42. Here's the option. Keeper by Crouch. Crouch dives inside the 35 to the 33. 8 or 9 more yards. He's on his way to a 100-yard day. He's got 99 on 10 carries.
Semino on the tackle.
Last year, Eric Crouch almost had his head taken off with Nebraska trying to desperately come back in that game. Watch this play. The officials somehow missed that.
Oh.
Looked like Linda Blair in The Exorcist on this play, and there wasn't a call.
Oh, that still hurts me when I look at that. And I was there doing the game, and it was unbelievable that the referee didn't see it, because that official, the referee, is just supposed to do nothing but watch the quarterback for late hits and personal fouls and intentional grounding.
Right, that was on a 4th and 16 as Nebraska was trying to come back in that game. And of course, then a late touchdown. Jeff Kelly on a fumble return was the final score, 40-30. But the folks in Lincoln and around Nebraska have not forgotten that play, that face mask that was not called. Eric Crouch said, "You think that thing didn't hurt? I couldn't even turn my neck in practice for about a week afterwards."
Yeah.
And today he has turned the crowd on. His neck's been fine. He scored 2 touchdowns on the ground from 30 and 18 yards. And that, with a safety as well for Nebraska, has them the 10-point lead and right now with 11:19 left in the half. And there was a timeout on the field. Give us a chance to remind you, next Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, ABC kicks off the college football doubleheader with a battle of Big Ten rivals as Michigan, fresh off their win today over Penn State, takes on Ohio State. And then Penn State and Michigan State will get together, UCLA and USC next Saturday on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series. You can check out flashbacks of some of the best rivalries with abcsports.com and ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Nebraska looking to go for about another yard here on second down. 2 tight ends set. Diedrich's got it as he gets to the 31-yard line. Lamar Chapman made the tackle.
You mentioned a little earlier the Tennessee loss, talking about the playoff in college football that we're having in November. Tennessee was ranked second in the BCS poll. These two teams are 5th and 6th, so whoever wins this game, Tennessee was going to drop down. They're going to move up to at least 4.
Right.
Virginia Tech plays tonight against Miami, and they got their hands full. So this whole thing, one of these two teams could be there at the end.
Florida did win today. High backfield. Crouch drops back to throw deep, overshot. Sean Applegate. It's what they like to do with that little option drop back game. And Applegate may have had a step back there against Ishad Carter, but the throw was long. The BCS standings as things started today. Florida State on top, but Tennessee, as Bob said, is going to slip now. Virginia Tech, a dangerous Miami game tonight. They've gotten Blacksburg. Florida won, so they'll move up. Kansas State and Nebraska both have the opportunity to push forward. And Wisconsin might even end up there in that 6th spot if they can beat Iowa. Who knows? So a lot of football left.
For sure.
7th play of the Nebraska drive. Here's a shovel patch to Dietrich, and he's close to the first down. Got to the 22, needed to get inside the 21. I like that play.
It is. It's like an inside option or a shovel pass. The good thing about it is an option. This one you're throwing forward, because if you drop the ball that way, it's an incomplete forward pass. If it's an option pitching it backward, obviously it's a fumble.
They really used that effectively, especially in the second half against the Aggies last week. Nebraska's 5 of 7 on their 3rd down conversions. Here's a power eye, 2 tight ends. Dietrich puts his head down. He's fighting for it. And the spot's going to be very, very close to another Nebraska first down. Speaking of Texas A&M, they win in a rout today, so credit R.C. Slocum for getting his troops back in gear after getting shut out by this Nebraska team last week. I think they're going to have to take a look at this one. I think he's got it by about 3 inches, but we're about 2 miles away in an absolutely gorgeous press box. I'll tell you that much. Our buddy Keith Jackson had some say in how they built this joint. Boy, did they do it right. Ooh, I got bad eyes.
3 inches short instead of maybe by 3, but we got a great announce booth. Keith Jackson came up here and showed them how to do the table and the baskets to hold the monitors. And the best thing he did,
if he hasn't left a big enough legacy in college football, he told them that you need a restroom in the booth.
And there's a sign right in back of us saying the Keith Jackson Memorial Biffy.
I've been in there twice already today, Keith, and I was yelling, "Whoa, Lily," and nobody could hear me. It's soundproof. Here's a 4th down at inches. They converted a 4th and 1 earlier in this football game. Crouch does it again. So Nebraska keeps the drive going, leading by 10. An ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. AT&T 1 rate 7-cent plan. 1 simple rate all day, every day. Budweiser, made with a freshness, all natural ingredients for brewery fresh taste. And Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit. There's a statue of the black shirts outside Memorial Stadium. The black shirts, the name given to their defense back in the 60s when Bob Devaney wanted to distinguish between his starters and his second team people. There's another fumble. Bobby Newcomb on a pitch on a trailer will lose about 4 yards.
That's something new. Bobby Newcomb in as an I-back and getting the pitch from the quarterback. He's played every way. He's going to be the wide receiver, wing back, tailback, wherever.
There have been some fumble problems today, without a doubt. Like the first play of the ball game, it happened. That one scooped up by Chapman, and then down close. We didn't even see this one. It was at the bottom of a late pile, and Kansas State took over. And now another one that was harmless, but does present them with a 2nd down and 14. Crouch follows his blockers, got a nice stiff arm, got back to the original line of scrimmage at the 20-yard line.
That's the same play that they scored on. It's the quarterback sweep, just going the other way. Didn't get quite the results that they got the last time.
Frank Solders talked to us about all his fumble problems his team's had this year.
The thing that we have are backs that really battle for yards after contact, and you're more vulnerable with that, because once you get hit and once you're striving for the yards after contact, the second and third guy that comes in usually try to strip the ball. So we need to, once we get into that contact, make sure we're covering up really well on the ball.
And, of course, some of it is just being in the right place at the right time if you drop one. That's happened to him once today, but it hasn't over the course of the season. 3rd down 11. Crouch pressured for the first time. He got hammered. He got the ball to Wistrom inside the 10. He's got a 1st and goal. Crouch got leveled as he let go of that ball, but on 3rd and 11, he finds Wistrom for 14. I don't know how to get rid of this football.
I don't either. I think the helmet incident last week may have helped him. Last year may have helped him. Crossing around here. Here's Wistrom. He's just going to go down and cross, and the ball's going to be right there. Crouch does a great job of just buying a little bit of time and then just throwing it to a safe area.
Kansas State looked like they had a turkey for Thanksgiving and each grabbed a wing, and he somehow got the ball there. It's 1st and goal, and now he rolls behind a convoy. Going to be brought down after a pickup of only 1. Chris Johnson is out there, draped all over him, the junior. And Nebraska in the red zone's had some trouble with those fumbles as well. They had a couple against Texas, but there's what they've done, 10 turnovers in the red zone.
And 36 of 49, only 27 touchdowns when you've been in there 49 times and all those turnovers. That is not good.
Yep. They had 2 inside the 15 against the Longhorns in their only loss, and they put 1 on the ground at about the Kansas 1-yard line, so they don't want to drop one here. Another opportunity to put a little space between themselves and the 5th-ranked team in the country. They lead by 10. 14th play of the drive so far, and Eric Crouch says, I think we'll talk this thing over on the sideline. Timeout, Nebraska.
You know, and a lot of these fumbles are not coming for an option team on the toss.
Right.
They're just guy carrying it and fumbling the football.
Second and goal just outside the 4. Willie Miller, touchdown, Cornhuskers. Bob said earlier you got to throw him a bone once in a while, and Willie Miller, the fullback, doesn't carry it much, but he just carried it 4 yards for a Nebraska touchdown.
Well, there's quite a tradition around here of fullbacks. Willie Miller is one of the in the line of the long line of really good fullbacks here. Just a junior getting his first opportunity to play.
His 2nd touchdown rush of the year. And now Josh Brown for the point after. High snap. Oh, that's a 2-point conversion by Frankie London.
Nice call there. Nice call. Surprise. Good play. You got Frankie London in. You work on these plays in practice, and you don't get an opportunity to run them, but it's a nice call by Frank Solich. You got to pull the trigger and go with it. And the players execute.
On that 62-yard scoring drive, Nebraska converted a 4th and 1 and a 3rd and 11, and Willie Miller took it 4 yards to score. They lead 24-6 following the 2-point lead by Frankie London for the conversion. Morgan and Allen waiting on the kick.
Nebraska has now scored on 3 of their last 4 possessions, all touchdowns.
Bill Schneider, his team a winner in this game a year ago, and now in a deep hole already before halftime. Hayden Felt's kick, good one. Allen won't have a shot at it. Out of the back of the end zone. Our Aflac trivia question earlier. Kansas State last one here in Lincoln in '68. What movie won the Academy Award for Best Picture? Oliver. Man, that must have been a bad year for movies. Student season tickets, 10 1/4. Tossing and turning. Bobby Lewis. Whoops, caught me. Bobby Lewis, tossing and turning. That was the #1 song. That's what Bill Snyder's going to be doing in bed tonight if his team doesn't get in gear. At the 20.
You look pretty good there,
Hey,
partner.
thanks. Beasley on the give. Frank Murphy got about 2. 7:45 now remaining in the half. And Kansas State needs to come from out of a hole. Vanden Bosch got up limping a little bit. He's already blocked a field goal again today. That's what started all this. Nebraska fumbled on its first snap offensively and then held Kansas State to a field goal attempt. And a guy that had hit 15 straight had a field goal blocked by Vanden Bosch, and things just started running red after that. Second down and 8. On the ground again. Murphy. And he's going to be close to a first down on the run. Speaking of on the run, how's Ron Dane doing? Let's check in with John Saunders.
Brad, as you know, he started the day needing 99 yards. He starts this next play needing 23 yards. Here's Tim Brandt with the call.
Dane. The big boy. Look out. Ron Dane. He needs 23. He's across the 40. Open up the history books. Here comes Ron Dane. Ron Dane. Ron Dane just...
In Madison, Ron Dane, #1 all-time. Brad.
Congratulations as well. We've seen Big Ron Dane for 4 years and seen so many special moments. None more special than that to do it at Camp Randall Stadium. We had him for 220 plus against Purdue last week, and as I said, he just kind of smiled when I said, wouldn't it be nice to do it at home? And he said it would be kind of cool in front of the student body. Well, he got it, and our congratulations to Ron Dane, now the new king of the hill in the rushing record books in college football. Here, Kansas State fighting back. Outside the 47, they've got a first down. On a little quick open and draw, but nothing to open there. There's a nice play by Eric Johnson, the outside linebacker, drops Murphy for no gain.
What the Cats are doing with Frank Murphy, he's got a lot of speed. He's had some injuries with his ankle. They're running him straight up. The last 2 or 3 plays, he's just run inside. This time there was nothing there, but they want to run him inside because straight ahead was where he is not affected by that ankle sprain.
Well, they had that surgery on that ankle, and he put a pin in it, but I watched him in pregame warm-up. He looked extraordinarily sound, and I had a gut feeling that they would get him in this ball game because of his speed, his elusiveness, and his size,
yeah,
Bob.
He can make some plays.
They're going to need him, and then some. Beasley in trouble. Throws, safety valve is Murphy. Here he goes. Down to the 40-yard line. First down. Pickup of 13.
There's just tremendous presence of mind. Jonathan Beasley to hang in there. Looks downfield. He's got somebody at his feet.
Jason Lohr almost got to him.
There you see it from ground level. Coverage there. Keeps alive. Stays awake. Knows where his receivers are. And then allows Murphy to get it upfield.
It's only the 6th reception of the year for Murphy, but it's a big one. Now it's David Allen. Allen only got about a yard. And it was Lohr who was putting on that pass rush that made the tackle. David Allen, all the speed and all the things we talk about, his punt return capabilities, but he struggles a little bit in the backfield.
Yeah, he's not as dangerous from the line of scrimmage as he is kicking off on kickoff returns or punt returns. You get him in the broken field, an open field, and he's dangerous. You might throw him the football out of the backfield. That would get him in space.
Now they go to a 3 wide receiver set, change the play at the line of scrimmage. Beasley lines him up at the 39 of Nebraska. And they'll just give it inside. And only about a yard, as Nebraska's defense is not given much to Allen. Tomorrow on ABC, the ISU Grand Prix of figure skating continues. A dynamic pair of Americans, Kyoko Ina and John Zimmerman, skated their 2nd full season together. They'll battle the world's elite skaters in the National Car Rental Skate America. The road to gold continues tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific on ABC Sports. We're skating right along in the 2nd quarter. Only 4 minutes left in the half. 24-6 Nebraska. A 3rd and 8. Beasley. Well, he had a lot on it, but nobody near it. Quincy Morgan, I guess, the intended receiver. And Beasley's got to scrape himself off the turf.
And they'll punt it away here, or it looks like they're giving us the appearance that they're going to. He's still playing the field position game, and there is no quit in Bill Snyder. They've come from behind before.
His last punt was blocked, remember, but he was in his own end zone. Ronchik's got more room to work here. Joe Walker waiting on it at the 10-yard line. Bobby Newcomb is going to drop back there with him, try to keep this one out of the end zone, maybe get a play on a return. Oh, man, they got close again. Brown almost blocked it. Newcomb will take it at the 12, spins, and goes down at about the 17-yard line. Our game summary in this one. Eric Crouch from 30 yards out. Got Nebraska on the board first. And then Ronchik had the punt blocked by Stella for the safety. It was 9-0. Eric Crouch, an 18-yard run here for his second score of the day, made it 16-0. Kansas State's Beasley, a 1-yard dive to keep him in the hunt, but then Willie Miller took it 4 yards right up the middle. That's where we are at 24-6. And Nebraska's got it back at its own 17-yard line with 3:44 left. They have only one timeout remaining here in the half. Eric Crouch's numbers pretty impressive. Over 100 yards and 2 scores on the ground. And as we said, has become the 5th Nebraska quarterback with over 1,000 yards rushing. And here he goes for about 10 more. Got taken out on the sideline over there. And it's like he maybe took a coach with him. Cooper made the tackle. Might have taken the coach with him. Was it Frank that went down?
No, he got out of the way. He's been around those sidelines a long time. This is his 2nd year as a head coach, 19 years as an assistant.
He knows enough to get out of the way.
And he was a fullback here before that, so he knows those sidelines.
115 yards for Crouch and 2 touchdowns. Frank Solich, who likes to work out and stay in shape and still is, but his wife says he bought a set of weights. He hasn't used them all year. That's how much time he's put into this football team. Play action, Crouch from behind, down he goes. Darren Howard comes storming around the corner, and he's the guy that can really put some pressure on the outside for the Wildcats.
And he's used to sacking quarterbacks. He is the career sack leader at Kansas State. He now has 29 in his career. Number 49. That's unfair, having a back try to block a defensive end.
Yeah.
He'll take that matchup any day.
He plays all over the place. Got a couple interceptions this year, too. Very rangy on the outside. They move him inside at times.
Yep. In fact, he returned one of those interceptions for a touchdown.
Senior out of St. Petersburg, Florida, has put Nebraska in a 2nd and long. Crouch will keep it anyway. Out to the 35-yard line. Picked up 9 more. Eric Crouch, who had over 100 yards on the ground last week and 22 carries for 108 yards in this game last year, and way past that already here in the first half. At halftime, it's a Valvoline halftime report. John Saunders and Terry Biden will be along. Scores and highlights from across the country. Michigan's beaten Penn State. Arkansas a winner over Tennessee. Florida survives. Virginia Tech plays tonight. Ron Dane's a new record holder. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on today.
Things are changing at the top.
Crouch with time and ran out of it. Is the ball loose? They're going to blow it dead at the 30-yard line. Howard again came storming around that corner. And Crouch is saying, I was throwing it, and the officials are agreeing, but it's still a punting situation. So Howard had a great defensive series there.
He did, and he wasn't working on jolts. He was working on the back again. I think it was Willie Miller. Gallaudet, the tight end, was over there too.
So Hayden Felt to punt. David Allen says, just give me a chance. They'll try to keep it out of his hands, obviously. Only guy in history to return punts for touchdowns in 3 straight games. He might have a chance, but it's a great kick. Nope, he's got to let it go. Well, he just played the averages. That thing was going to go inside the 10, and he didn't want to hear it from Bill Snyder on the sideline. A 65-yard punt. And Kansas State will work now from their own 20-yard line. They trailed 24-6 here at Memorial Stadium in front of what might be indeed a record crowd today, the 233rd straight sellout. Eric Crouch, a couple of touchdowns, a safety on a block punt, and Willie Miller, the fullback, for a score. The only touchdown so far for Kansas State is Jonathan Beasley, their quarterback, sneaking it in from less than a yard out. Kansas State has 1 timeout remaining before the break. Here's Murphy trying a cutback run. He ran right back into the same guy that hit him the first time. Vanden Bosch tried to Bosch him in the backfield and then stuck with it and made the tackle.
That's just if you stay alive and be alert, maybe the guy will come back your way, and that's what he did.
Vanden Bosch, I remember the first time I saw him, we said to Charlie McBride, this kid looks like he's going to be good. And Charlie just kind of raised his eyebrows and said, he's going to be really good. And he has been. Now a junior, 270-pounder. Drops Murphy for only a 1-yard gain. It's 2nd down and 9. Nebraska shows blitz, backs out of it. Now they come with some heat. Beasley Trying to get it out to Lockett and couldn't. Lockett single coverage out there with Keogh Craver on a crossing pattern.
Yeah, well, they had what they wanted, and that is single coverage in the secondary. They just couldn't find him. Nebraska had some pressure on Beasley.
And the pressure has made him struggle statistically.
Beasley only 2 of 8 passing. As we mentioned, he's not a big percentage guy as far as completions are concerned.
Remember, that one completion was the long one down to Quincy Morgan that got him close to the end zone. Murphy will be the single setback. 3 wideouts as George Williams joins Morgan and Lockett. And they're going to keep it on the ground. And Murphy spins in that backfield, broke a tackle. And as Swanee said, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Pickup of 11. Wisconsin looks like they're on their way to the Rose Bowl. Still a half of football to go there, but they lead 27-3.
Bill Snyder likes to keep his practices closed. He doesn't like to give out a lot of injury reports, but this guy looks like he's pretty healthy. He doesn't have any knee and ankle problems.
Not a 4-2 speed guy, and he showed some of it there, and they try to get it out to him in a pass pattern, and he got hammered by Julius Jackson in coverage. Georgia Tech survives Clemson 45-42. Joe Hamilton had a big day, 5 touchdowns and 88 yards on the ground, so he's not going to just hand that Heisman Trophy to Ron Dayne, I don't guess.
That's for sure.
Be interesting. The votes from where they come, and the Midwest you would think would be Dayne heavy. Joe Hamilton probably in the South.
I would think, though, with Dayne surpassing all those other guys and those other 4 guys having won the Heisman, that will influence a lot of the voters.
No doubt about it. 2nd down and 10. We got a minute and a second remaining in the half. Beasley from the shotgun. And did they take too much time?
Yeah.
The noise was getting to them a little bit. They were trying to get set, change things up. And now instead of 2nd and 10, it's going to be 2nd down and 15. That's the first penalty of the game against Kansas State. They had the 1 decline penalty earlier on the punt situation. Kansas State had almost 100 yards in penalties last week, and that was something that was irking Bill Snyder.
Yeah, and they're the most penalized team in the Big 12 this year. It just you just can't stop yourself, especially on offense. If some of those penalties come on defense and they're aggressive, you can put up with that, but not offensively. It stops your drives.
They'll work from the gun again. 2nd and 15. Slip. Screen, got it on the run to Quincy Morgan. Morgan across midfield, 1 man to beat. They're going to drag him down, but not before he got to the 18-yard line. Deion Booker saved a touchdown. Morgan gets those wheels turning, and it's hard to stop him. Averaging over 22 yards a catch, and he got 55 on this one.
Yeah, they call this the jailbreak screen, and this was Charlie McBride, defensive coordinator, saying yesterday they wouldn't like this one.
And intended on a slant for Quincy Morgan, way high and deep from Beasley.
And there aren't many defensive coordinators that do like that play, and the reason is because the offensive lineman can go downfield and throw their blocks, and the guy, you can throw a pass, a forward pass. It just has to be behind the line of scrimmage.
If they had that rule in the National Football League, there'd be 100 of those thrown a day.
Oh boy, would there ever.
Yeah. Only 43 seconds left. Timeout situation. Kansas State has one.
This would be a big score if the Cats can get in here.
Would it ever? And 2nd and 10. Beasley drops, wants to throw back to the right. Now he's got some heat. And trying to throw it away, almost intercepted by Ralph Brown.
That was a bad decision by Beasley. His 1st, 2nd, and 3rd choices were covered, and he just turned and threw it to the corner and didn't even look.
Almost found number 22 as his intended receiver, but it was a wrong color jersey.
The red jersey, exactly. He rolls to this side. He wants to throw back. It was the design play to throw back, and then before he threw it this way, he didn't even look.
That's a blind toss there. 3rd down and 10 at the 18. They want something out of this drive before halftime. Lockett in motion. They're going to throw it, trying to do the same thing to Morgan. He dropped the ball.
They tried the same jailbreak screen and didn't connect on it.
Now they pretty much got to go for 3 here, don't they? 31 seconds left. They're talking about it. Here they come. They'll bring out the field goal unit. There was some conversation. That guy has the final say, and he says let's get 3 before the break. But remember, Jamie Ream, who had hit 15 straight, had his first one blocked today by Vanden Bosch, who's got 3 in the last 2 weeks. So watch out for where number 83 will be coming from. He's right behind the right upright, I think. 35-yard attempt. He got it, but not by much. Kind of an ugly kick. Almost had it stuffed again, but he got it through with 25 seconds left in the half. So that quiets the crowd momentarily, but they have seen Nebraska pretty much dominate the first half of this football game. The Big 12 North is at stake here today with Kansas State in the driver's seat, but they've got to come from behind to win this game. If Nebraska wins, and right now they lead 24-9, they would have to go to Colorado and win that game, and then they know they would be the northern representative for the Big 12 championship game in San Antonio against, will it be Texas? Well, Texas and Texas Tech played tonight, and Texas Tech, after some early rocky goings and some booing against Spike, they're right back in the hunt too. They can win out and win the South, so it's kind of crazy right now.
If they could beat Texas tonight and win the rest of the games, they would go.
Ream, who just hit the field goal, set to kick. Nice kick. Stella, 5-yard deep, will not bring it out. So Nebraska leading 24-9, courtesy of their quarterback and their defense, Eric Crouch. 81 yards in the air at 121 and 2 touchdowns on the ground, including a 30-yarder where nobody got a hand on him as he took it in, and an 18-yarder, much the same, a cutback, a great block. Part of his 2 touchdowns rushing today and going over 1,000 yards rushing in his Cornhusker career at quarterback.
Earlier in the year, he was not named the starting quarterback.
No.
Newcomb was the starter, and they played. Both of them played, and Bobby Crouch started doing better, and Newcomb went to wide receiver, and it's been a good thing for the Cornhuskers.
Semino levels Crouch after a pickup of about 3. Number 42 is always going to be around the football. Boy, he's a good one.
He is. He's led this team in tackles for 3 years. He's been a captain ever since his sophomore season, and he's just an outstanding player.
And he's going to, I'm sure, try to fire up his defensive teammates in the locker room at halftime, because Nebraska's owned the first half at home. 24-9, the halftime score. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Remember a year ago in Manhattan, Kansas, Michael Bishop over 460 total yards. Eric Crouch, a good game. David Allen, a long fumble return by Brown, but Crouch was dumped. Kansas State was pumped. Crouch was almost decapitated, and then the goalposts were. Down they came at Kansas State to end 40 years of frustration against a Nebraska team. But a different story today. Frank Solich has said, we're not out for revenge. I think maybe his football team thinks a little bit differently, because they've taken it to Kansas State today, and now Bill Snyder knows he's got to dig himself out of a hole. 24-9 at halftime. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy. Kind of a weird first half. A lot of balls on the ground all over the place. Big plays by both defenses, but Nebraska's got control right now.
But Kansas State's been in this situation before. They've been down big at halftime, 21 points twice this year. They have the confidence to come back because you've done it before, and Bill Snyder's going to try and get them there. Nebraska, just keep on doing what you've been doing.
There's 2 big play performers, one on defense, one on special teams. They're still trying to get David Allen freed up a little bit. He had a 44-yard kick return earlier that gave them a spark. They're going to need more than a spark now. They're going to need at least a fire, if not an inferno, in the second half. Down 24-9. Haydenfeld to kick. Allen draws a bead at the 2. Return sent up to the left. Across the 20.
Look out.
30. Got a block. David Allen at midfield and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Make it the 44 of Nebraska. There you go. 54-yard return to start the third quarter.
He's doing all he can do And Frank Solich knows how dangerous he is. You have to kick it to him. You can't kick it out of bounds on the kickoff. A great way to start the second half. I'm sure that Snyder talked about this. Let's go out. Chapman's getting a block. There was no place else for him to go.
Had it not been that Ralph Brown was the guy trying to stay there and shove him out of bounds, he probably would have been gone. Brown played the angle just enough to get him out at the 44. Beasley now going deep down the middle, just overshot Aaron Lockett. Lockett had a half step on Brown.
Yeah, and you're only going to get so many chances on these big plays. The first play of the second half, Bill Snyder and his staff, Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator, do a great job of adjusting to what they see. And that was, he was open. He had a couple steps on him. And you're only going to get so many shots at making big plays.
So 2nd and 10, trying to take advantage of the kick return. Murphy, the single setback, trips to the right side. 3 wideouts for Beasley at the 44. But he'll option back the other way. Keeps it. Goes down at about the 41. Steve Warren makes the tackle. Let's check in with Swanee.
Brad, I talked to Bill Snyder, and he said the 2 things that concerned him most about the first half was the quarterback for Nebraska on the option and the tight end coming so open. He said these are the 2 things we're going to have to make some adjustments on. He felt like he made those adjustments. I asked him about Frank Murphy. He said he'll play more in the second half because he's been running hard. Now keep in mind, Frank Solich understands that, and when I talked to him, he said we're very pleased with how we played the first half, but we have to keep after him because Kansas State is a relentless football team. We need to score more points and continue to be effective.
That's what Bob was saying. They've been in this predicament before. Beasley on 3rd and long, and he's in a predicament right now. Has to throw it away, and it's going to be intentional grounding. He had all kinds of heat from Aaron Wills and Eric Johnson, and then he dumped it behind one of his linemen. I'm sure that's going to be the call. And it is.
Spot foul, loss of down.
Spot foul and loss of down.
It's not a serious, if you're an offensive team, it's not a serious penalty. The biggest thing from last year's game, you saw the highlights. There's no Michael Bishop playing quarterback for Kansas State today.
Well, there went their spark after the kick return. Now it's 4th down, and they're punting. Joe Walker waits. And Mike Ronsick, who had one stuffed in his own end zone, sees that there's 9 guys a little bit hungry at the line of scrimmage.
Nebraska can run these punts back too.
Now they drop off and take the punt block away, trying to set up the return. Not a good kick. But Newcomb will take it out of bounds at the 15. Newcomb dances his way to the 19-yard line, a 4-yard punt return. And they'll take over the Cornhuskers, that is, at their own 19 as we take a look at the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half statistics. Look at that rushing yardage and a lot of that Eric Crouch, Bob.
You got that right. And first downs 14. The turnovers 2 for Nebraska. Time of possession in Nebraska's favor. Nebraska had 6 fumbles in the first half alone and only lost 2 of them.
So here's Crouch, the guy of the day so far. Over 100 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns in that first half. Bobby Newcomb in motion. All the way across the field.
Looked like he doesn't know where he's going.
Going to be a lead blocker here, I guess. Diedrich comes out close to a first down run. He's been kind of the horse as the eye back. They had Alexander and Buckhalter both put it on the ground.
I think we're seeing something right there. Is a good key. Buckhalter and Alexander have been playing most of the year. Both of those guys are older. They're both juniors. Diedrich, I think maybe Frank Solich just said, well, you know, we're giving it to those guys. Let's see if Diedrich can get it done. I think he's going to get an opportunity here to win this job.
You got 10 there. So Darren will stay in at the tailback spot at the 29-yard line. On the option. Crouch broke 1 tackle. Puts his head down, runs into Lamar Chapman, but he got about 7 more yards. Eric Crouch, a determined quarterback today.
Phil Bennett told us, the defensive coordinator, that the things they needed to do was stop the option and no big plays, and they have not done that. Crouch has gained 132 yards running from the quarterback position, mostly on options, and they've hit the tight end for several big plays that set up touchdowns.
2nd down and 2 coming up. High back backfield now behind Crouch. Gives to the fullback Miller. And Willie, who had a touchdown earlier, has a first down this time at the 42. Cooper and Semino make the tackle. You know, we were talking with Semino about the quarterback of Nebraska, Eric Crouch, and he had some high praise for number 7.
Assignment sound. I mean, everybody has to be in their right spot, and you got to get up blocks, and you got to just continue to pursue the football. I mean, it's going to be tough. You know, Eric Crouch, he's a speedster, and you know, he's gonna make some things happen. We just got to, you know, make sure we recover from it and just keep playing hard football.
They're still trying to do that. Crouch throwing, not quite for Applegate. Had him open. Applegate got turned around, had his head on a swivel.
Not a good throw there. He was wide open.
They have had some guys come open today, especially Wistrom, the tight end. There's Bobby Newcomb with Frank Solich on the sideline.
But when you've got the running game going, you can do so many things. Applegate's going to just come and go across the field, and he'll be wide open. You'll stop it right here. You'll notice that he's wide open. All the receivers over there had 2 guys to choose from.
Wide receivers haven't caught a pass today. 6 completions for Nebraska, 4 to the tight end and 2 to the running backs. Here's Crouch as a running back. Out to the 48. He got 5. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Good call by the head coach. If you know, if it's working in the first half, keep on running it till they stop it. And talking with Frank yesterday, he said one of the fun things about the job is he still gets to call the plays. Now, when you're the head coach and the offensive coordinator calling the plays, that means you have to watch a lot of tape to know when to call these plays at the right time.
That's why he hasn't used that weight set down in the basement.
That's right.
Not enough time. 3rd and 5. Trying to throw a screen. Batted in the air. Crouch caught his own pass.
Shouldn't have done that.
Nope. Goes down at the 33-yard line. Well, he gets an attempt and a completion, but he also lost about 10 yards.
Yeah, you get a minus 10 yards. That's right.
Holloman got a paw on it.
It's hard to tell quarterbacks when the ball gets knocked up like this, don't catch it, knock it down, because they're so competitive. They want to catch it and run somewhere. Just knock it to the ground.
So 4th down. Allen waits on the punt, averaging 14-3 coming into this day. He has to clear everybody out of the way. It's going to bounce out of bounds as they try to keep it away from him, and in doing so, it goes out at the 25-yard line.
Great job there.
So Kansas State got the ball back, but they trailed 24-9 when we return. With Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler. Nebraska ranked 6th, leading 5th-ranked Kansas State 24-9 with 10:37 left, 3rd quarter. Husker fans are enjoying it and standing for their defense, which has been outstanding today. First down, K-State from its own 25.
It's hard to check off. You take a risk of not everybody hearing the play.
David Allen trying to cut back, and Carlos Polk won't let him. No gain. Polk came in as one of the top tacklers on this team at 10 tackles last week in a win over A&M.
And he is a player.
Yep.
He's 250 pounds. He's the middle linebacker, and he is, you know, this defense has 3 linebackers, but the other 2 are kind of a strong safety size.
Right.
And they can run like corners. The only real size of a linebacker size is Polk in the middle.
Here's Beasley from the gun. Polk is up there close as though he might come with a blitz. He doesn't. Beasley still in trouble. Got hammered as he threw, and it's incomplete. It's 3rd down and 10. Beasley's wondering where all the bullets are coming from. He's 3 of 16. He hasn't completed a pass in his last 6.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start this, and I'll show you a little bit later in the route. Look downfield. Now, if you stop it right there, look at, there's nobody open. There's 2 receivers there. Nobody is open there. There's nobody to throw it to. A lot of space because they had a blitz on. Polk was up in the line covering the back.
Quincy Morgan and Lockett to the near side. 3 wide receiver set. He's looking that way and throws high, intended for Morgan, incomplete. Ralph Brown was covering. And Kansas State's got to give it back on a 3-and-out. And the defense did its job.
They did, and this is the Kansas State offense this year. It is a lot of misses and a few hits. They don't take the ball down the field. They can't take it 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. They want big plays.
Bobby Newcomb waiting on Rotzig kick. Kansas State's been held without a first down on 5 of their 8 possessions. That's defense. Now they've got 9 guys up. Let's see if they bring the heat. They got a piece of it.
I don't know how he missed it.
I think it hit him in the side. It went out of bounds.
He overran it.
Craver, as Bob said, went too deep, and I think that ball hit him in the side as he was flying by.
He could have tackled the punter. He just forget about the ball.
Second block punt of the day. Craver flying in. Nebraska's got it back when we come back. Those special teams have been today. A blocked field goal by Vanden Bosch, a block punt by Stella. Another deflection a moment ago. Frank Solich's troops set up shop at the 37 of Kansas State. Here's the toss, end around coming. They fake it. Diedrich keeps it. They had Newcomb coming around from the other side, but only about a yard gain. Cliff Holloman made the tackle.
That's the 52nd play, the total plays for Nebraska. 31 of them have been run in Kansas State territory.
Wow. We talked about field position. That's field position.
Yeah. And the special teams have set it up for Nebraska.
Second and 9. Nebraska leading with just over 9 left in the third quarter. Crouch on the option. Got a nice block. Pitches late. Diedrich lost it out of bounds. Penalty marker down.
I think it's going to be holding against Darren Howard. But that is why, you know, you've got to take care of the ball for Nebraska. I mean, all these fumbles that they've been having, sometimes you make bad decisions. There's the hold.
Trying to get something that isn't there.
Yeah.
First penalty on Nebraska, and I think it was
holding,
Adam Jolch out there holding.
Spot foul. 10 yards. Repeat the down.
Bob and Brad, you know, on that option, I've learned over the years that there's always supposed to be a relationship between the pitch man and the guy who's going to get the ball. It's about 5 yards deep and maybe about 3 yards to the outside and front, so he can pitch that ball out and make it an easy grab. So far today, Eric Crouch has been playing wonderful football, but on his choices about that option, I think he pitches the ball too hard, and he's not making smart decisions.
Well, the other thing, Len, is the guy he pitched it to then was a true freshman. He's probably only been around for a few months, and he needs to get that relationship with the quarterback.
Second and 19. Here's a screen to Newcomb. And Bobby Newcomb in the open field brought down by Travis Litton. Talking about great players, John Saunders has an update on another one. John?
Well, Brad, a couple of great players hooking up now. Chris Wenke has 5 touchdown passes against Maryland. 26 yards here to Peter Warwick. That's his 31st of his career. That's a Florida State record. Also now the ACC career receiving yards leader as well. So Florida State is pounding Maryland. Washington controlling their own destiny to the Rose Bowl, tied with UCLA. Back to you, Brad.
All right, John, thanks. Third down and 16 with 8:19 left third quarter. Newcomb out of the backfield, and Crouch drops to throw. Looks that way. Going deep down the sideline for him. Just off his fingertips. At the goal line, and a flag flies in. Jared Cooper was there with him, number 40. A well-thrown ball, almost caught by Newcomb, and the penalty's going to be on Cooper.
One of the things that Nebraska was going to try to do was motion. I don't know. I didn't see it there. Let's take a look here.
I think he gets him with a right hand right at the last second. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right, the face mask.
Yeah, that's a good call. He hit him just as soon. But one of the things they want to do is get Newsome out of the backfield, motioning on Jared Cooper, the strong safety. That's.
So they actually call a face mask not a pass interference. Well, there definitely was a face mask there.
Well, whatever. It was going to be marked off from the previous line of scrimmage, whether it was pass interference or face mask.
So 5-yard walk-off. Frank Solich wants an explanation from the head linesman over there. They spotted at the 38-yard line. And I think the crowd here is agreeing with their head coach. How come it wasn't pass interference and why just a 5-yard incidental face mask? At any rate, still 3rd down.
But the guy that the Huskers are going after in that secondary is the safety, Jared Cooper.
They've been picking on him today.
With Wistrom, the tight end, and although that time with the speedy Bobby Newcomb.
Wistrom's been quiet since the first half. Crouch throwing deep for Newcomb, just off his fingertips. It would have been a touchdown. And I think Bobby might be a little disappointed in himself. He stretched out, got his hands on it, just couldn't hold it.
Yeah, he had a step on him. Couple of more weeks and these two guys may get this down. It's tough to move from quarterback to a wide receiver.
Number 32, David Allen.
Just off the gloved hands of Bobby Newcomb. Hayden fell to punt.
Yeah, and I'm sure Bobby would tell you, I should have caught that ball.
Yep. David Allen, they're not letting him touch it today, and I don't blame him. They kick this one out of bounds, and it goes out at about the 15-yard line. The reason they're trying to keep it out of David Allen's hands, he's got 7 career punt returns for a touchdown. I think I remember a guy that played in a red jersey, Swanee, that did that same thing.
Yeah, there was a guy here at Nebraska named Johnny something or Rogers. Is that who you are?
Me, Swanee. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. David Allen's out here. I mean, that ball comes punting out of bounds. They used to punt to you that way.
Oh, they have to. I think that if we're going to successfully win this football game, we best keep kicking them out of bounds. David is tenacious. He means to score every time he touches the ball. We hate to even kick it to him on kickoffs.
Okay, now there's a guy on the Nebraska side, Bobby Newcomb. They're talking to him about like he's going to be the new Johnny Rogers of this football team.
Well, Bobby's a lot stronger, faster, and things have progressed so. I think he has a chance really to be able to be one of our best players ever.
And he's got to catch 143 passes to break your career record.
That's not very many.
Johnny,
you 200, didn't you?
Thank you, Johnny.
The option to Murphy, the trailer out at about the 20-yard line. How good was Johnny Rogers? How about a Heisman Trophy winner? And how about the game of the century in '71? And as always in those days, Oklahoma and Nebraska. And from Norman, this was Johnny Rogers as he weaves his way. 74 yards and a touchdown in the game of the century. He was electrifying. And man, what a football player. There he is now, still looking pretty sharp.
In today's times, they would probably have thrown 3 flags on that return.
Illegal block in the back 5 times, huh?
Yeah, too close to him, didn't give him enough room to catch the ball.
Right. 2nd down along 4. Beasley lofts one, his arms hit as he throws. Let's see, to keep a foot in bounds. Morgan, nope, out of bounds. Trying to keep that trail foot in there. Carlos Polk put a hit on Beasley as he let go of the ball. He never really got a chance to follow through on the throw.
Exactly. He didn't follow through very well.
Yep, he's out.
Good call by the official right there.
Heck of a catch, even though he was out of bounds.
Talking about David Allen and his 7 punt returns for touchdowns in his career, and he's only a junior. He's had 3 of them called back.
That's right. 3rd down and 4. They've got to start picking up their 3rd downs to have a chance in this game. Here comes a delayed blitz. Beasley lofts it out. Wide open was Lockett. He's been rattled all day, just enough that when he gets an open receiver, he can't quite find him.
That's the Dell game solution for the Nebraska defense, was rattle the quarterback, get after him, knock him down. Charlie McBride, the coordinator, that is always his scheme. Rattle the heart of the offense, which is the quarterback.
So time to punt again, the 3rd straight 3 and out for the Wildcats. And again now, the punter finds himself in a bad position at his own 5-yard line.
And Nebraska has gotten after the one weakness in their special teams, and that is the punter.
Newcomb and Walker both waiting on the punt, hoping one of them can get their hands on it. This kick should be fielded by Newcomb if he has enough real estate, just enough at the 39. And out of bounds at about the 47. An 8-yard return for Bobby Newcomb. Ralph Brown and the black shirt defense doing their job today. They lead 24-9. Nebraska, a couple of touchdowns from Eric Crouch in the first half. Willie Miller, the fullback, took one in. They blocked a punt for a safety And they lead 5th-ranked Kansas State 24-9. Eric Crouch will give it off. Diedrich out to midfield. Picked up almost 5. Fatafahi knocked him off his pins, but Darren Diedrich, the redshirt freshman out of Scarborough, Ontario, is doing a good job as the I-back today for Nebraska.
He is. He's getting a lot of work, too. We mentioned earlier, both Alexander and Buckholder, the 2 I-backs in front of him, fumbled early in the game, and
Alexander fumbled on the first snap of the game. I don't think we've seen him since.
Well, we haven't gotten any reports that they're hurt or injured.
2nd and 6. Diedrich again trying to spin for yardage and didn't get any. Ben Lieber, the linebacker, made the stop. Coming up Thanksgiving weekend, Spain's El Nino. Sergio Garcia competes in his first Skins game. He'll join Fred Couples, Mark O'Meara, and David Duvall in one of America's favorite Thanksgiving tradition, the Skins game. It's a feast on the green for Thanksgiving weekend on ABC Sports. Grab your leftovers. Join us for some golf on ABC. 3rd down and 6 coming up.
I'll never forget that shot he hit from the tree, from the stump of the tree.
Tiger had one sort of like that yesterday. Wrapped his iron right around a tree. 3rd down and 6. End around coming. Well, Crouch is coming this way. Newcomb trailing him, and he only got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe eked out a yard. Chris Johnson is the guy that made the stop. So Kansas State's defense does a nice job on that series.
Yeah, and they're going to have to step up and create something good for their offense, because their offense is not going to take it down the field against this Nebraska defense.
So the 2nd straight 3 and out for Nebraska. Kansas State's had 3 in a row, so this thing's just kind of hanging around midfield right now, which is the line of scrimmage. Hayden felt the kick.
He's been kicking to his left all day. Now he's
he angled this.
Yeah, he was going to kick this one to the right.
Kansas State.
And he couldn't do it because the man was there.
Adrian Beard was coming in there trying to block the kick.
Yeah, he's been kicking left all day because he's a right-footed punter, and that's the safe area to punt. But when you aim to the right, you go out where near that the guy's coming to block it. Take a look over here from this side.
Boy, Beard almost got him. He did well to pull it down, actually get back near the line of scrimmage. That thing might have been stuffed and rolled all the way back to the 20. Who knows?
Beard's had a couple of blocks already this year.
Kansas State, new quarterback. Adam Helm is at it. The Helm, that is, at the 49-yard line. Murphy. Whew, man, what a shot he took from Ralph Brown. Ouch. And Murphy staying down. Remember, he's had all kinds of injury problems. Was not 100% coming into this game, and he just took a wicked lick from senior co-captain Ralph Brown.
Take a look from behind the defense. There's Brown, number 22. He sees what's going on.
He just plain got one right under the chin from the helmet of Ralph Brown, I think. That was a wicked lick.
Ralph Brown has started 48 straight games. I think this is his 49th straight game. He's a 4-year starter. Every game at Nebraska he has started.
And he's the guy that said to the media, we are not losing Saturday. If we do, come back and talk to me. And he just put Frank Murphy probably out of the ball game. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving. Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, investments. Use the power of Pacific Life. Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service. And inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia, connecting people. There was just a connection between a cornerback and a running back a minute ago, and the running back got the worst of it. We'll hope he's all right. Frank, 51 yards on the day, and the day might be done after that tackle. 2nd down and 8. The ball just outside the Nebraska 47. Adam Helm, and now he can't stand the noise or the play that's called and has to take a valuable timeout. 4:17 remaining, 3rd quarter. So Adam Helm took a timeout. Kansas State down to 2. 10 plays this half, 11 yards.
2 possessions in Nebraska territory, and they missed a field goal, and there were 3 and out on the other one. So they're not taking advantage of what they're getting fault. What am I trying to say here?
Not taking advantage of the few moments they get in Nebraska's side of the field. Slechta just hammered Helm.
The thing that a new quarterback in the ball game cannot do is let the crowd noise affect him. Especially don't let him think it's affecting you. Don't call a timeout. Don't say you can't hear. Just get up there and run the play.
You know, one of the stats that amazed me about the Nebraska defense coming into this game, they had only allowed the opposition 15 drives to reach their 20-yard line this year. Think about that in 9 games. 3rd down and 8. Helm with an empty backfield. Throws the screen. Morgan can't handle it. And Eric Johnson scoops it up, but that's an incompleted pass.
Yeah, they're trying the wide receiver screen. They can't get the ball downfield. This is just a dominant defense by the Cornhuskers.
So now it's 11 plays for 11 yards, and it's time to punt again. Another 3 and out. And last time, Newcomb and Walker didn't get a chance at it. See how Ronsick does this time. He's been hurried and hassled and hammered all day. 1 block, 1 deflected. He's going to throw off this one. Nebraska had it read beautifully.
Yeah, that's a desperate team right there. That's a desperate team by Kansas State. When your defense forces the punter out of the pocket and you get field position at the 50-yard line, you run 3 plays, you can't get anything. You have to go to some trickery like this.
Greg List made the play. 2nd-generation Cornhusker. And his mom and dad, who died in a plane crash 6 years ago. There's a remarkable resemblance between he and his father in their football pictures at Nebraska. You think he's a happy senior? I'd say.
5th-year senior, last game here today.
Crouch carries a couple of tacklers down to the 42-yard line. We carry it to John Saunders in New York.
Right, time for the Burger King play of the day. Ron Dane's run for the record. Here's Tim Brent with the call.
Dane. The big boy. Look out. Ron Dane. He needs 23. He's across the 40. Open up the history books. Here comes Ron Dane.
Ron Dane now #1 all time. Wisconsin looks like they're headed to the Rose Bowl, and we're still counting.
Back-to-back Rose Bowls. Here's a fumble. Daedrick, did he get back on top of it? Another drop ball in the backfield by Nebraska.
Is that 8 fumbles? That looked like a bad toss by the quarterback.
It looked like it hit him in the head.
Yeah, I think that was just a bad toss by Crouch.
Well, any coach in the country would like to have a running back like Ron Dane. We talked to Frank Solich about number 33.
He's been able to just take over games, make the big plays, get the yards when they're needed, the tough yards, and then certainly his ability with all that strength and power then to show the burst and to make the big play. You know, those kind of guys don't come along all the time.
Crouch hit as he throws, incomplete. And of course, Frank Solich and Barry Alvarez, the Wisconsin coach, played together here at Nebraska under Bob Devaney and are still good friends, talk pretty frequently. Many times Coach Alvarez will come down here if Wisconsin has an off weekend and Nebraska's at home. He'll come down to the game down here. It's 4th down again, and it just keeps inching a little bit more. I'm on the ball. I'm on the line of scrimmage the whole 3rd quarter here. 5 yards here, 5 yards there. 2:41 left.
Well, this guy right here in punt return formation is the best chance to score because their offense doesn't seem like it's going to get it done.
High kick to the sideline again, bounces. I bet you Allen had a notion about just scooping that thing just to get his hands on it, but he doesn't. Has to let it go dead at the 13-yard line. They won't give it to number 32. I don't blame him. Eric Crouch, 2 touchdowns in this game. A 30-yarder opened the scoring. And then the block on the punt by Stella. Safety, 9-0 Nebraska. An 18-yard romp by Crouch, who's got a career day going on the ground. Beasley went in from a yard out. That was the only Kansas State touchdown, and Willie Miller for Nebraska has made it 24-9. And Eric Crouch has a career-high rushing day, by the way, so far.
If teams are going to continue to punt away from David Allen, why not put two guys back there, line them up in I formation, and then rush them just as he's kicking it, split him so he doesn't know which side he's going to go to.
Quarterback draw by Helm. He did this 5 or 6 times last week in the win over Colorado fairly effectively. At least he got him some breathing room. Got him 9 out to the 22.
Got him some self-confidence. Now you get into the ball game. Bill Snyder, Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator, is get him in the game. Run some plays where he's going to do some positive things and get some confidence going here.
There isn't much confidence when you have the football 10 times and you go 7 of those without even getting a first down. They're a yard short of a first down here. It's been a constant 3-and-out situation for both clubs here in this third quarter. Allen, there's a first down. Not by much, but he got it. First down since there was 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter for the Wildcats. That's a long time ago. Recently entered into the LPGA Hall of Fame, Julie Inkster headlines the field. The LPGA Tour's top 30 money winners. It's the PageNet LPGA Tour Championship tomorrow live, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific on ABC Sports. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew in Lincoln.
Their big play guys are on the outside, and they need to get the ball out there.
They've tried, and they only had 1 completion, and that was kind of a wobbly duck. Marshall remains unbeaten. Win over Western Michigan. Only 5 unbeaten teams in Division 1A coming into this day. Chad Pennington's numbers, a couple of touchdowns today, as you see on the screen. But Kansas State's undefeated record is very much in jeopardy. We've got 16 minutes and 5 seconds left in this game, and they trail 24-9.
Well, here are their big play guys out here. This single coverage, the wide receiver, but they haven't been able to get him the ball.
They'll work from the gun. Helm's going to take off again on the keeper, and he's got a first down up the middle. Pays the price, and a fumble at the end of the play. Wait a minute. Nebraska's got it. It's Mike Brown. Ralph had one earlier. Now Mike's got his. They're not brothers, but they play like it back there.
Well, we said early on it wouldn't be pretty. It was going to be a defensive battle, some special teams mixed in. And the defenses have dominated.
Another one of the seniors in that secondary. Nebraska takes over at the K-State 44 with 44 seconds remaining in the quarter. Here's a counter. Diedrich. Nice move inside the 35. He's down to the 32-yard line. First down, Cornhuskers.
Let's go back and take a look at that fumble. Helm with a nice run.
Brown helped out on the hit and then scooped it right underneath him.
Ball was definitely out before he hit the ground.
Leading tackler on the team and 4 interceptions.
He's been the leading tackler the last 3 years on that defense.
He's on the Nagurski list, and that was a Nagurski-type hit that helped that fumble recovery. Now Crouch just about got going there. Jeremetrius Butler knocked him off his pins, or he might have been off to the races again. The third quarter set to come to a close, and at the end of 3, Nebraska leading 24-9. ABC Sports presentation of college football. A return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Coming in, there were only 5 at the end of this one, you might say, and then there were 4. Kansas State trailing 24-9 as we enter the fourth quarter. Nebraska with the lead and the ball. Diedrich up the middle. First down, Cornhuskers inside the 20. Semino holding on with Cooper to try to bring him down, but it's a first down, Nebraska. You look at the shakeup and the undefeateds. Marshall, we just told you, wanted to go to 10-0, but they really don't figure into the BCS picture, at least not right now. Who knows? But their strength of schedule doesn't help them at all, despite their perfect record. Mississippi State and Alabama playing right now in the fourth quarter. Alabama trying to ruin the unbeaten string of the Bulldogs. And Alabama would then be in position to win the West in the SEC and go on and play Florida. Florida has won today. They beat South Carolina. Tennessee lost to Arkansas. So the East is already cleared up. It's Florida in the Georgia Dome in the SEC title game.
And if this game goes as it is going right now and Kansas State loses, two of the top 5 teams in the Bowl Championship Series standings will have lost. Number 2 Tennessee and number 5 Kansas State.
Second down and 9. On the option. Crouch puts his head down and goes down near the 15-yard line. Lamar Chapman makes a stop along with Cliff Holloman. Pickup of about 3. And now everything's the enemy to Kansas State. The clock, the scoreboard, 77,000 fans. And Eric Crouch, who's got 152 yards for a career-high rushing day and 2 touchdowns.
222 yards of total offense.
Not bad.
He came into the day with 87 attempts without an interception, and he has not thrown one here today.
He had 247 yards of offense last year. Here he goes again. Up the middle to about the 13-yard line. Still 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down. Semino, and number 42, gets off the tackle again.
And it's a good thing he did, because there was some running room if Semino had not been there.
There's the Butkus finalists, and Semino among them, along with LeVar Arrington and Brandon Short and Raynoch Thompson.
2 Penn State finalists there. He is a good one.
Frankie London to hold. Remember, London scooped up the snap and went in for a 2-point conversion earlier. This time he spots it down for his kicker, and Josh Brown knocks it home by about a foot inside the pipe. 30-yard field goal is added to the lead. It's 27-9. We like to get the hometown crowds in our graphic meetings for games. 5 national championships to none. Conference titles 17-0 wins in Lincoln. In the last 3 decades, none. Nebraska leads 27-9. George Williams, and the return set up to the right. He comes back that way and gets out near the 29-yard line.
Well, here's a look at what's going on today in the BCS. We can scratch Tennessee.
They lost to Arkansas.
Kansas State is losing and looks like it will lose.
And Michigan beat Penn State.
Penn State is going to move down. Look at Nebraska. Nebraska moves up to number 4. Virginia Tech has a big game tonight. Florida State and Florida have already won.
And they're on a collision course, of course, next week. It's all going to get cleared up by itself, I think. From the 29.
We may be looking for teams to play in that game.
Here's a pitch to Joe Hall, and he is knocked down by Tony Ortiz, the outside linebacker.
Tony Ortiz, you know, these linebackers at Nebraska really get along well. Ortiz and Brian Shaw, who alternate and share time. One guy starts one week, the next guy starts the next week. Shaw is from Nebraska, is kind of a farm boy, and Ortiz is from the Bronx, and they get along very nicely. Shaw right there takes him out to the farm and kind of shows him around.
Shows him what trees and grass look like.
Yeah, and cows.
2nd and 9. Pump fake. Helm has plenty of time. He's got a streak on the sideline. Incomplete intended for Quincy Morgan. And nice coverage out there by Mike Brown. Near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And beginning this year, Chevrolet also donates 2 $1,000 high school scholarships. 11:38 left in the ball game.
To practice the other day, Eric Johnson, number 27, the other outside linebacker, shares time with Julius Jackson, and he came off the last play of the defense and said, hey, we just ran something, and they talked about what happened just in case Jackson was in there during the ball game.
3rd and 9.
Sharing information.
Helm intercepted, picked off by Mike Brown. A fumble recovery and an interception in this half for the defensive co-captain.
That's 2 turnovers this week. He had 2 turnovers last week. Top right of your screen. Oh, he just making a nice play. That was a bad throw.
Yep.
He had 2 interceptions, forced 2 fumbles last week.
There's the brothers Brown, even though they're not.
Yeah.
Ralph and Mike went on a recruiting trip, met on a recruiting trip at USC. Decided neither one of them wanted to be Trojans. They kept in contact. They end up at Nebraska. They're co-captains, and Diedrich's off to the races. Down the sideline. Touchdown, Nebraska. We're seeing a team headed to the Big 12 championship, possibly, and we're seeing the birth of an I-back. Darren Diedrich, 46 yards, touchdown. Extra point coming up. Josh Brown out of a Frankie London hole. It's 34-9. Last year, a Kansas State upset. This year, nothing doing. Nebraska, a big lead with 11:21 to go. .21 left. They're enjoying it, to say the least. With Mick Jagger saying it started up in the background. I think this one started and finished already, maybe. 34-9. Kick taken by Williams, one of the up men. And George Williams cuts outside. He got a nice return out to the 38-yard line. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC College Football. And Dell Computer, pioneering direct internet ideas for your business. Be direct with Dell. Out in the Midwest with a twilight over Lincoln. And a near record crowd. 78 people shy of a record crowd. I don't know why they didn't want to be here. It was 84 degrees at kickoff. They are having some fun at Memorial Stadium. Helm in trouble. Down he goes. Jason Lohr got him.
Jason Lohr was in the backfield. He just pushed his offensive lineman back with him.
Nebraska can smell the victory now. They have a 6-game home winning streak. 5-0 this year at home. Their only loss of the season was to Texas when the Longhorns came from behind to win. And will they have another date with Mack Brown's Longhorns in the Big 12 championship encounter in San Antonio? Texas Tech has something to say about that. So does Colorado, who Nebraska plays next. But right now they've got Kansas State all wrapped up.
He got away from Vanden Bosch. You just can't stand in the pocket that long and not expect to get hit. As a look at the defensive line, a little game there. Selected number 56. Kaiser's going around. Wills is there.
Vanden Bosch, the guy that got the first contact, couldn't hold on, but his partner, including Jason Lohr, cleaned up.
They hate that too. Those defensive linemen, they love those sacks. When they get a chance to get the quarterback and get a sack, they love it.
That's the first official sack of the day. 37 to lead the Big 12. But boy, they've been in that backfield after those quarterbacks all day long. Here they come after him again.
Starts to roll out. Polk, who was up in the line, sees him rolling. It's man coverage, and he just attacks the quarterback.
Unless Ronsick really kicks this one at an angle, either Newcomb or Walker might have a chance at it. see. Who got on top of it? Still Nebraska ball. Ooh, almost lost one there.
The punt fielded.
9th time they've put the ball on the turf, but they've got a 34-9 lead. I wonder if those guys will party tonight in Lincoln.
I think they've already partied.
The party may continue tonight.
I think the headache comes next.
First down at the 38-yard line. Here's a toss. Fumble! This time Kansas State's got it. Jared Cooper has been picked on all day in the right place at the right time, and that's the 10th time the ball's come popping out of there. Frank Solich shaking his head even though he's got a big lead.
Who was the running back on this one?
Was it Buckhalter?
Was it Buckhalter? Buckhalter was back in the game, and that doesn't sit well with the offensive coaches. He already fumbled once. They give him a shot. He goes back in the game and fumbles again. There's Alexander. He fumbled on the first play of the game, and Diedrich has been doing well.
Helm. Finally completed pass out to Aaron Lockett. It's not a first down, but it's a pickup of 8, and we're down under 8.5. First completion for Aaron Lockett. Lockett says, let's hustle. We don't have much time.
Yeah, throw me some more of those. Been open all day.
In the last 31 games in this series, 26 times Nebraska scored 30 or more points and held Kansas State in single digits 17 times over that same stretch. Quarterback draw. Polk meets Helm, but Helm got the first down, and a little shoving at the end of the play. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the football game. This one has been dominated by 6th-ranked Nebraska. In front of a sellout crowd at Memorial Stadium, they've enjoyed a beautiful day and a fairly pretty performance by their club, with the exception of all the fumbles. 10 times Nebraska has lost the handle, and yet their defense has been phenomenal. Their special teams have done some special things, and they lead 34-9 with 7:42 remaining in the football game.
The amazing thing is Nebraska defensively, their offense has fumbled the ball so many times, and they still have overcome all that, only giving up 3 field goals.
Helm throws incomplete, intended for Morgan.
Excuse me, a touchdown and a field goal, but still 9 points.
Very few penalties today, but there is another flag down.
Penalty flag on the play.
This one thrown in the secondary. And maybe they're going to pick it up.
It looked like they're going to pick it up.
John Lurie's our referee. John, well, they are going to call offensive pass interference. That's the call against Bill Snyder's club. Tomorrow on ABC, the ISU Grand Prix of figure skating continues. Dynamic pair of Americans, Kyoko Ina and John Zimmerman, skate their second full season together. They'll battle in the world's elite skaters of the National Car Rental Skate America. The road to gold continues tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific on ABC Sports. So that was a penalty against Kansas State. Mark Semino, who has worked so hard and made so many tackles all year and today.
Done all he can do.
Yep. He looks out there at his offensive teammates have a 1st and 20 now back at the 39-yard line.
Offensive pass interference, 15 yards, still first down.
Yeah, they had to walk off the extra 5.
That's getting 5 more. Yeah. This is a Nebraska team that lost early in the season to Texas, but has worked its way back up. It'll be number 4 in the BCS, and you know,
proves the better time to lose is early.
If you're going to lose early.
1st and 25. Helm on a slant. What a catch by Morgan. Morgan breaks a tackle into the clear. He's got great speed, and he's all the way to the 15-yard line.
Good speed and good moves. You want to get the ball to him as many times as you can. He came in tonight with 37 receptions, 8 touchdowns, and he's dangerous.
Those 8 touchdowns that he scored, he's averaged 50 yards per touchdown reception, and you can see why, because he can break tackles, he's strong, and he's fast.
Yeah.
He's got 116 yards receiving. Would you believe that today? On just 3 catches.
No, I wouldn't.
Helm, quarterback draw. Drew himself right into a hole there.
That play is taking too long to develop. He's not getting into the hole quick enough.
Brad, Bob, you're talking about throwing the football and Quincy Morgan being a fine receiver. That was a great play, especially with the high degree of frustration that all the receivers for Kansas State have shown today. They've been open a lot in this ball game, but the quarterbacks have been so inconsistent, have not given the opportunity to make the catches.
3 wideouts here for Helm. Nebraska even thought about a blitz. They don't come with it. The pass is incomplete. George Williams looked like he didn't see it coming until it was almost to him. And it brings up 3rd and 8 with 6:31 left.
Last year this team had Michael Bishop, and he was just amazing. He was a little unorthodox and a little unusual, but he got it done.
He had over 460 yards of offense last year. All by himself.
It's got to be frustrating for Bill Snyder to have such a tremendous defense and good special teams for the most part, and then be frustrated on offense and not being able to get a lot done.
K-State's missed on their last 7 third-down conversions. Helm with time. Across the middle, incomplete. And David Allen got a hand on it and then took a shot from Clint Finley. And now they're down to 4th and 9. Beg your pardon, 4th and 8.
What they should be doing, hitting the back out of the backfield. David Allen, going to let the thing clear out. He's just going to sneak over the wide open. You got to drill those.
It was a little bit in front of him, but you got to think maybe Allen was knowing Finley was there. This might be the last time Kansas State touches it on offense if they don't pick up this 1st down. 4th and 8. Helm over the middle, has got Lockett, and it's 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. So they stay alive, got 9 yards on a 4th and 8.
Adam Helm started a couple of games earlier in the season. He's the son of a coach, so he's been around. He knows what it's like studying and preparing and the frustrations. And that's a big play here. 4th down, keep the drive going.
So it's 1st and goal, Kansas State. All 3 wideouts to the right of Helm, and he's going to take off with it. And he got to get down to about the 1. Julius Jackson holding on to him. Helm's a big kid, 6'3", 225, doesn't mind sticking his head in there. And now he's got him close to the Nebraska goal line. 5:50 left. 9th play of the Kansas State drive. And don't you know the pride of that Nebraska defense would like to come up with a goal line stand here. Joe Hall, a single setback. It's Helm, and it's a touchdown. In for the score from a little over a yard out.
Ball carried by Adam Helm.
So now you know you've got an onside kick coming up. A long way to go, though, for Bill Snyder's Wildcats here. Just powered ahead.
Some good movement in the middle of that offensive line.
So they're going to go for 2 here.
Go for 2. If you make it, that's 34-17. You're still down by 17 points.
Let's see if they've run out of quarterback draws. Nope.
That's a good call.
Julius Jackson knew that too. So 34-15 is the way it stays with 5:33 left. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, and Lynn Swan at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the 6th-ranked team in the country leads number 5, 34-15. With 5:33 left in the good hands, folks are up close for Nebraska as we await the impending onside kick from Jamie Ream. He's got it lined up to go to that far side where Matt Davison and some of those guys are waiting on it. Here it comes. And it is picked up by Brown. He almost broke a tackle. Mike Brown's done a little bit of everything today. I thought he was going to take an onside kick for a touchdown.
Well, they were working on that. that just the other day, and that same thing happened. They kicked it right to him. He wants it. He's in the primary spot. He and Davison, number 3, right next to him. And you can bet that those two guys have the best hands on the team, and they've done that before in practice. Scooped it up and went the other way.
And a first down at the 37. And it's Dietrich back in there at the I-back spot. What a surprise, huh? 2 tight end set. One guy that's held out of the ball today. And he holds on here after a pickup of about a yard. Simino made another tackle. And he has been around the football today. Battling off a blocker to bring down Crouch, and then sideline to sideline for another hit on the quarterback, forcing a fumble. Had a great game last week, was Big 12 Player of the Week last week, and those numbers don't hurt him in that respect this week either, except his team's losing. 14 tackles today.
Coach said he didn't make any mistakes last week.
Said he looked down the film and looked and couldn't find it.
Couldn't find one. Graded out 100%.
Bill Snyder can't find something wrong on film on him. You've played one heck of a football game. Eric Crouch goes down. Let's check in with John in New York.
Brad, Washington controlling its own destiny as far as the Rose Bowl is concerned. Down 2017 to UCLA. 56-yard attempt by John Anderson is good, and it ties the game at 20 apiece. There's about 2 minutes left in regulation in this one, Brad. So Washington's still very much alive.
What a kick.
Rick Neuheisel back in the Orange Bowl, in the Rose Bowl.
Maybe.
He's there now, though.
3rd down and 6. Inside handoff, and we'll work our way under 4 minutes here.
You know, Nebraska's moving their way up the polls, and as we showed you a little earlier, they're going to be probably number 4 in the BCS poll next week. They've won the national championship 3 of the last 5 years. They haven't won it when Frank Solich was the head coach, but
94, 95, and 97.
Tom Osborne was there, and they won it 3 or 4 years when his last few years.
On the 4th down, Crouch, the pitch. Nope, going down at the 25 is Applegate, and Kansas State's going to be able to take over. Don't forget, time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report with John and Terry. All the scores and highlights, including Ron Dane's run into the record books. Tennessee picked off by Arkansas today. Penn State beaten by Michigan. You'll see all the highlights and scores of those two guys coming up, time permitting. You talk about the winning streak and the winning ways of Nebraska football, and we mentioned they've got a 6-game-in-a-row home winning streak coming into this one. 5 wins this year, but they, in the last 11 years at home, if they win this game, will be 74-3.
Yeah.
Think there's not just a little bit of home field advantage?
Oh, yeah.
Helm pumped once and pays the price. Got hammered by Brian Shaw.
And one of those losses was just last year to Texas,
right.
The team that they may play in the Big 12 championship game.
Texas and Texas Tech play tonight.
In fact, Texas has beaten them the last 2 years. They beat them last year in Austin.
I think that game starts in about 15 minutes, as a matter of fact. Virginia Tech, of course, plays tonight on ESPN. Huge game for them against Miami. And Florida and Florida State, having won, sets up showdown time for them next week. Those are just some of the things John and Terry will talk about, and you'll be thinking about all week as the college football season hits the fun part. Oh, that's no fun. Vanden Bosch levels Helm, and now Johnson takes it in. It's a touchdown. Vanden Bosch, a 6'4" Tasmanian devil, and he just leveled Helm, and Johnson did the rest.
Well, Vanden Bosch made sure he got the sack this time, coming from over here on this side. Vanden Bosch gets the sack, and Johnson gets the touchdown.
Josh Brown for the extra point. It's 41-15. Bob, I think this one's been solutioned. Our Dell Game Solutions. These are the guys you talked about coming in.
Well, we talked about getting after Beasley. He was only 3 of 19. And Crouch had a big day. Not throwing necessarily, but running the football. 2 touchdowns and a lot of yardage.
Faces tell the story of this one. The happy faces of almost 78,000 fans plus the team. Lamar Chapman. Nice return. Let's check in with Swanee.
Thank you, Brad. I'm with John Junker, Executive Director of the Fiesta Bowl, who's here to watch 2 football teams that might represent the Big 12 in the Fiesta Bowl.
You know, Lynn, that's been a great game today. Really a big statement by Nebraska, and they look to be a team on the move in the BCS standings.
Well, now, if they move up, obviously they wouldn't be available to you, but this is a team you'd like to see in the Fiesta Bowl.
Nebraska, I think any bowl would love to have in their bowl. Kansas State, you got to give them credit. A lot of teams have come to Lincoln and had a long afternoon. There's no quit in that team, but Nebraska really has made quite a statement today.
John, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Swanee. First down, just under 3 to play. Helm, here comes Jackson. Got to him. 4th sack. They're eating up the Wildcat quarterbacks now.
When you're talking about the Big 12 and going bowling, they'll send their champion to the Fiesta Bowl. And the Cotton Bowl gets the 2nd pick. The Holiday Bowl gets the 3rd pick and on down. It's nice to see that Cotton Bowl up there. That would have been in place last year. Kansas State would have been there.
Fumble! They're going to whistle it dead. Julius Jackson again put his helmet right between the 1 and the 9 on the back of the Kansas State quarterback.
We're near the end of the game, but I'll repeat what I said at the start. It's going to be a defensive battle, and it's not going to be pretty.
If you're a Kansas State quarterback, it certainly hasn't been pretty today.
Yeah.
That one could have just as easily been ruled a fumble.
I think that's a fumble, but I don't think it makes any difference.
No, I don't think it does either.
We've had turnovers. We've had seven turnovers.
The defense led by Mike and Ralph Brown. Phenomenal, both those young fellas. Both had interceptions, fumble recoveries. They talked with us about how much it would mean to be walking out on this field for the final time, for the final home game. And boy, are they going to have sweet memories of it. Helm on a throwback. Got it to his tight end. The ball's loose again. Nebraska's got it.
You got to hold on to the football. I mean, you can't. They don't let you go out onto the field unless you can hold on to the football.
Ben Buttonback's got the fumble recovery this time. Bill Schneider knows this game is well over.
It's the tight end Meyer. That's just carelessness.
Another of the undefeateds 2 minutes away from going by the boards. 5th Kansas State turnover. Jeff Perino's in at quarterback.
Nebraska has turned it over 3 times. 5 times for Kansas State. 8 turnovers in the game.
Buckhalter gets the carry. Today's Chevrolet players of the game. Eric Crouch, a sensational afternoon, a career high rushing the football and 2 touchdowns that set the tone. Mark Simoneau, 15 tackles today for the Kansas State Wildcats. In recognition of their effort, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And beginning this year, Chevrolet will also donate $1,000 to 2 high schools. We're down to the last minute and 40 seconds. Nebraska is going to get their sweet revenge from last year. It was 40-30 as Kansas State thought they might be on their way to a national championship shot. They came in here today 6-0 in conference play, 9-0 overall. They thought again, maybe with whatever happens above them, that they would again be in the BCS picture. That picture has now faded to black for them because in a minute and 20 seconds, number 6 is going to hand number 5 a 41-15 defeat. We've got a shaken up player.
And I know everything is kind of peachy and happy and everything else for the Red and the Big Red and Nebraska and everything else. But unless they eliminate all of the turnovers and all of the fumbles that they've had on offense, they will not continue to win tough games, tight games, if you're going to drop the ball and put it on the ground all those times. They led the nation coming in fumbles given up.
Mike's given something back to the fans who've been here 233 times without an empty seat. And Perino, the quarterback, keeps it. Goes down to the 21-yard line as another senior getting a chance to play a little bit. And we're down to the final minute. Oh, man, how good those seniors have been over the years. Ortiz and Mike Brown in an embrace on the sideline. That's what it's all about right there.
And it gets to the players, but it starts with the coaching staff and the continuity that has gone through here for 20, 30 years. From Solich to Osborne to Delaney, Devaney, I mean, and then on back. But all of those years building this program to what it is, the new press box, the new field, everything that goes on in this tradition here, and it gets back down to the players.
Bill Byrne, the athletic director, came in, talked to us today, and how proud he is of how this place has turned out, and now how proud everybody can be of that second-year coach who's taken a lot of guff. It's hard to take over for a legend, and this is another year now of winning at least 9 games, and that's what, 33 years in a row. Think about that for a minute. Man. Now to the final 42 seconds. Our New York remote coordinator, Vince D'Addario. College Football Today technical director, Kevin Behrman. College Football Today directed by Calvin Haywood. College Football Today produced by Charles Coplin. Our computer stats, Jason Shavico, Clint Deans, our spotter, Pat McGrath, our stat man, assistants to the producer, Chapman Downs and Praven Martin, Jake Gleason, our technical operations manager, our production manager, Joe Alvarado, associate director, Margaret Schaefer, Fred King, our associate producer, our technical director, Jeff Suarez, as Perino on the option. He is going to keep it and go down, run out of bounds. Today's game directed by Chip Dean and produced by Jay Rothman. They gave you all the beautiful shots of what we saw, a resounding win. Coordinating producer of ABC's College Football is Bob Goodrich. Vice President of Production is John Filippelli. The President and Executive Producer of ABC Sports is Howard Katz. Folks, we've seen the number 5 team in the country fall, and they just keep falling from the ranks of the undefeated. And Nebraska is going to move up in the polls, move up in the BCS. They'll move from number 6 probably to number 4. They do it in style. Final score, Cornhuskers 41, Kansas State 15. Frank Solich might be his biggest win in his 2 years as head coach of the Cornhuskers. Bill Snyder's team falls for the first time this year. No one really expected them to ever be in this position to be at 9-0 and have a chance for the national championship. But they have played brilliantly all year. They just ran into a buzzsaw wearing red today, led by the seniors, that black shirt defense. And the winning coach is with Lynn Swan.
Coach, a tremendous win for you. Congratulations. Your thoughts on this victory?
I thought our team played tremendous. Played with a lot of heart. You know, that we showed a lot of speed, a lot of quickness, just a lot of determination. They wanted to get it done on both sides of the ball and in the kicking game. You know, there's some things we could still work on. There's some things we got to get better at. But they did a great job, and I'm so proud of the kids and the staff for getting this win.
We all anticipated a great defensive struggle, but when you came out in the first half, it appeared that your offense was able to move the ball the way you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, you know, we wanted to try to establish something on the ground, because if you just have to go to a throwing game against these guys with their speed, it's pretty tough. We were able to get some of that going in the early going, and then I think we did try to keep them off balance, at least with some mixing it up with some pass plays as we went through there.
You know, we always go to the next game as soon as one's done. This is a victory. It's in the books.
Yeah.
But the next game against Colorado is the one that would seal the championship for you.
It's a big one. Colorado's a great team. They're improving. They struggled a little bit early, but they're not struggling now. So it'll be a great ball game.
Your biggest win as a head coach?
It's a big win.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it.
I think you'll think about that and say yes to the answer, Swanee. A good one it was. as now teams that got together for 84 times, and this time it goes in Nebraska's favor again. 41-15, they win it. As Swanee said, Thanksgiving weekend, Colorado will have something to say about who wins the North and who goes on to the Big 12 championship. But right now, the folks in Lincoln think it's their team in red. Final score: the 6th-ranked Cornhuskers upset Kansas State 41-15, the final. For Lynn Swan, Bob Greasy, and our ABC crew, I'm Brad Nessler. Thanks for joining us. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Good night from Lincoln.